Yeah. We're definitely live, ladies and gentlemen. We're definitely live. We talk weeklies after the talk on WPPMLP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We talk weekly with your boy Charles Greg and the beautiful
Classy Lady Sparkle
and the beautiful
Lauren Sizzle
and the beautiful
Tanisha Henry.
And today we're going to have a dynamic show. We have a few interviews, people with whom I have a tremendous amount of respect for. We're going to have a dynamic conversation as it relates to what's going on in them streets, right? Because you know I love the interviews because we get the opportunity to talk to the good folk. Super excited today. The ladies are here. They ready to get those stories. Of course, we got the sizzle. We got some tea with tea. You know what I mean? That's our counsel in the building.
Some legal tea.
This legal tea right there. And then we have, of course, the sizzle with Lauren Sizzle. And, you know, we got some good interviews. So we have a jam-packed show for you today, ladies and gentlemen. So before, we get into anything, I like to ask, how was your day? How was your day? How was your day?
My day was all right.
Guess what, y'all? She was late today. I just let y'all
he
know.
couldn't wait. He couldn't wait.
Wow.
He was. I had a good reason to being late.
Mhm.
What was I doing? I got a new vacuum. That's a robot. That's why I was late. I was like trying to connect with Alexa so that I can tell Alexa.
Was it a Roomba?
It's the Shark.
That's the shot.
So it's and it's the the robotic one. So I have to tell Alexa to tell it, and then it had to map the entire house. So that took an hour, and then it tells me what corners not to go in. I had the Roomba, but it ain't do all of this. So I was really impressed.
Okay.
I was really impressed. So I'm trying to, get like.
If only it could rub your feet when it's done, then it's like that's.
I got another apparatus for that one. I got something else for that one, but I can't hook that up to the Alexa. That's the only problem with that. But other than that, today was all right. I had a good time. Yeah.
No doubt. All right, Sizzle, holla at me. How was your day?
Yes, I had a really good day. I was doing my running around, and I thought I wasn't going to have time to pop up at a No Kings protest, but I popped up, and let me tell you, these folks were they were showing up and showing out. So this is actually the third series of No Kings protests, and this was my second one because I did go to the one in September, and I ended up at the same location because I happened to be going there to go to the Macy's. But it was interesting. It was nice. A lot of people, a lot of them were out, and they were all excited, all fired up, and their fight for democracy, and they just were but apparently this one that I go to, they're there every Saturday from 10 to 12. So this is not just like we're joining in with the No Kings, the major No Kings, which I believe is like 3,000 across the country this time around. But they do this every Saturday at the Springfield Mall in Springfield, PA from 12 to 2.
And tell us again why are they protesting?
So they're protesting, for, various reasons, one for against No Kings. They want to send a direct message that, the current sitting president is not a king here in this country. So that's the main idea of it. But the fight is against, immigration rights and just, the suppression of the American people voices,
dictatorship
and all that, and they're like standing up and fighting against it. This time around there were not as many, because I did talk to a lot of the people that were there that are helping to organize this one, but there were not as many counter protesters as there were the first time around. So of course, like as we were standing there and there were people that were riding past, everybody's honking their horns and all that. Then occasionally you get somebody that rides past and want to throw out their finger and yell something, some expletive. But it was pretty cool. It was peaceful. It was calm, and I'm curious to see what happened at all the other ones. But yeah.
Shout out to No Kings. Shout out to No Kings. I appreciate you being down there. I told you we in them streets. Yeah. No doubt. All right, what's up, Legal T? Holla at me. How was your day?
It was interesting. I went to go mix and mingle with a religious organization, and in this particular sector, everyone is high in academia, highly educated. Everybody's got a title in the world and inside the religion, and so I understand that and I respect that people work hard for what they got and things like that. But when I come in the room, and I've been around for about 2 years, I play the background. I observe before I speak. Everybody looking like who the new girl. First of all, I ain't new. I'm new to you, right. And so I'm like, and I don't like having to boast about yourself or say I got this, I got that. Most of my friends don't even know what I do for a living. Like you would never know. I don't brag and boast about myself. But they wanted us to go around the room and give introductions. I was having an internal conflict. Like, well, they out here dropping 20 years of history, 65 years of this, and I'm like, what do I say? Like, do I just appear mousy and keep observing and hit them at the park some other time? But nope, 30 seconds or less. Did my little spill. People was asking for my number after the event. And I got me a lawyer. To sneak out because I was like, I gotta take a nap before work tonight.
I know, right?
But the event was nice, and everybody was nice. I did feel welcomed and accommodated, and I can't wait to interact with the ladies once more. It was really nice.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I gotta get my game up. Sizzle's going to protest. You're going to, academia type of.
And you're late.
And and he put me in jail. Y'all got applauded. I went to jail. I just seen. I was like, well, that's all right. Next Saturday, I'm going to be publicly speaking at some type of. I don't know. I'll make sure I got me a story though. Y'all go. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'm not just going to be playing with vacuums next week. So.
Well, I want to get one. So
wrong with it. I need to be doing that.
Yeah. Well,
which means that you were cleaning.
Yes.
With something I need to do because my room is a mess because I done all week long I've been running. So I gotta do that.
I think it's great though that you guys in your leisure time are doing things that are impacting the community, and I think it's beautiful. I have those moments. I just didn't have that moment for the past couple weeks, but I had that moment.
You can take a break.
Yeah. All right, see, we need to know what you did today.
Nothing really. I mean, I had to stop at a couple headache crazy all day, but before I got here I had to stop at an event, show my face.
What event?
It was one of those events,
Okay,
I had to pop up, show my face, it was all good. And that was about all I had. I gotta shout out this boutique too, because while I was at the event, everybody was shouting out my cardigan.
It's nice. I was going to say that too. I was going to be like, that is a nice one.
Yeah, a lot of people was asking about this. So shout out to, what is it? Lizzie and Ricky shop right on 841 South 52nd Street.
Oh, that's my girl. That's my family.
Yeah. So she compliments to her. So I got to give her a shout out. Sister got a dynamic store. I told her I'd give her a shout out. That's where we at.
Okay, that's my folks right there. I love her.
Yeah, for sure. So Philly in the building. Philly got a shout out Philly. Philly's definitely in the building. And so I want to jump right into it because we have a jam-packed show. I got a little story right here.
You skipped over something.
What I skip over?
Your born day is coming up.
Man, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, I'm in the building, man.
Yeah.
I'm in the
building. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, I got you. Can I get into my story then?
All right. Go ahead.
Such Aries energy. Y'all don't believe in zodiacs, but
no
they all
doubt.
act the same.
So just tell me what y'all feeling right now. All right, so Philly bars to stay open late. World Cup, America's 250th under new bill. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about it, and you guys can tell me how y'all feel. So as America 250 and World Cup events begin, Philadelphia will be able to extend the festivities into the night thanks to a new bill. Senate Bill 1218, sponsored by Senator Joe Picozzi and Vincent Hughes, passed the Pennsylvania State Senate and House of Representatives and moved to Governor Josh Shapiro's desk for approval. Shapiro then signed the bill into law on Friday, March 27th. I'm going to tell you a little bit of something. This was one of the quotes. The bill supports our local businesses while helping ensure a safe and welcoming experience for visitors and residents alike. Senator Picozzi said in a news release, it's a chance to drive up economic growth and showcase Philadelphia on a world stage. We're seeing a strong intergovernmental approach under to make the most of the occasion. Now, this is from the Visitors Bureau. It said the Philadelphia Convention and Visitors Bureau estimates that from events alone, Philadelphia will welcome over 1.5 million visitors in 2026. Those visitors are expected to spend more than $950 million, generating an economic impact of $1 billion on the city, in the city. So let's talk a little bit about the time limit. I don't know, do they have a time that they're planning to stay open? I want to say 2 more hours than they would normally close, but a lot of people are up in the air about this. And so I'd just like to know what you guys think about that. What you guys think?
It's at 4 a.m., right? They say
4 a.m. That's right.
And is that only Center City?
Well, it didn't specifically say,
Okay.
so yeah.
So I saw this happening. I think I had stopped reading it before it got signed as a law. But I was like, my first reaction was, does everybody know what city this is? I mean, yes, the crime rates are down, but 4 a.m., that's a lot. And I feel like we're setting ourselves up to ask for trouble, because how much more drunk do you need to get past the 2 a.m. hour when you're in celebratory mode, when there are visitors in town? People are going to naturally be on one. Y'all seen this in the Phillies games and in the Eagles parades, and we climb on light poles and we mess with hotel awnings and all kind of stuff. People end up fighting and car accidents with pedestrians. That's our culture when we're excited. And now we're adding 1.5 million people to the loop. And we're going to extend the drinking time. Yeah. Do we have enough law enforcement for this?
That was my and speaking of law enforcement, being in law enforcement for so many different years, I have seen the different people when they come into our beautiful city, our city of brotherly love. They think that they're going to leave without a new case, a new charge, but commit crimes. And like you said, they're doing that at Citizens Park and all this other stuff. And we don't need that here. So it's an open invitation for something to happen. And our crime has gone down, and we want to keep it that way.
I think my outlook is that I get it with the whole small business, the hotels, but like you said, 2 a.m. I feel like cities that know your crime rate, like you said, crime rate went down. When your crime rate goes down, your grants go down. Yeah. So a lot of times, if you're not getting the money for a crime, you know what I'm saying? So it's almost like they know that this is going to make more crime come, even if it's during that time frame, they're able to get more grants, national grants because of the crime. Because there's no other reason on why you would allow something to go further, knowing that people, unless you got more law enforcement that's going to be there, it's not going to stop the money from small businesses, the t-shirts, the hotels. They're still going to be making money. So if there is crime, they probably got to meet a quota, and then they're probably going to get more money for it.
Shout out to them. Let me just add this one little piece because we asked about the time. It says the legislation established a temporary Philadelphia 250 permit that allows bars, restaurants, and nightlife venues to stay open an extra 2 hours during the World Cup in a 250th celebration, extending closing time from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. between June 11th and July 20th, 2026.
That's so way too long.
That's over a month. June 11th to July 11th would have been a month. Yeah, that's a minute.
We don't need that, and I know that there's going to be some bars and some restaurants that are not going to accommodate that. They're going to close at regular time, and I heard that from from the merchants themselves.
What I wonder what projection would be the financial upgrade, like the financial upgrade that they would get from a 2 hour span. Like how many people are really on the streets during that time that would allow them from that 2 to 5 or 4 to 5, whatever, that they would get more money for people being out there. Like, I don't know.
And then the other thing too is there is a huge concern because a lot of, I think what they started seeing is that I don't know if there's the registration is going down for stuff, and a lot of people are canceling registration for hotels and flights because of what's going on in the economy with the war and all that stuff. And it's just because other cities have stuff going on, and I think that the tourism is down there as well. So
but the World Cup is
I know
that's gonna be thorough.
It's gonna be big. Shout out to Philly. Philly's gonna be huge this summer. I mean, look, you even talking about the Roots picnic coming. Jay Hove is gonna be in the building. Shout out to Jay. And so fit. This summer, Philly's gonna be hot.
It's gonna be a hot girl summer.
It's gonna be a hot girl summer, no doubt.
Yeah, we need the right kind of energy.
For sure. All right, so shout out a couple people. So one of our favorite people that watch our show consistently is our queen, Monica, who's been on here giving us the good. You talking about somebody who truly been in them streets. I mean, she always keep us, in the building, letting us know what's actually going on. And Vernique, she said, okay, Lizzie and Ricky. So shout out to her, she's in the building. She said, hopefully, Monica said, hopefully the TSA will get paid and lines will shorten at the airport. When I hear about those lines, the lines that I've been hearing about. I mean, literally, I heard lines going out of the door, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
People were arriving at midnight and still missing their flights.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah. All right, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all ready? Let me give you a round of applause because we're about to get into some tea. You ready for me? All right, ready for me?
You ready?
Oh, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, why don't you give it to me early?
All right. As you all know, We Talk Weekly has been doing a lot of talking and debating and educating on the use of AI.
That's right.
But did y'all know that our local transportation systems and agencies have been using AI in Philly since 2023?
That's right.
And then just to give you a little bit of a background, back in 2023, City Council passed an ordinance that allows SEPTA to use AI cameras to target illegally parked vehicles blocking transit stops, bus lanes, zones, and ramps. The aim was to decrease traffic congestion and improve safety. And back then, they only started on 7 buses. It was Route 21, Route 42. Shout out to West Philly, Center City, and Upper Darby. And then during that time frame, in just 70 days, the AI cams found 36,000 instances of obstruction.
Wow.
That's
insane.
Exactly. Because y'all in Philly, y'all know we do what we want, which ain't always cool.
Yes.
So fast forward, by fall of 2024, the AI cameras had been installed on 152 buses across the city. Now, I'm from West Philly, born and raised, and those bus routes, the 21 and the 42, those is my stomping grounds. But I ain't have a clue that any of this was going on. And thank goodness I didn't find out by getting like a citation or something. Y'all let us know in the comments if y'all have had any experiences with this, good or bad, with the SEPTA cameras. Now, fast forward to present day. Now, this year, SEPTA and PPA have partnered. And they made Philly the first city in the nation to implement AI cameras on trolleys. Right?
I'm over it.
Now, on March 2nd of this year, the partnership rolled out AI cameras on just 30 trolleys. It's the lines T1 through T5 and the G1. I have no idea where those are, but if y'all know in the comments, please let us know. And their citations are going to ticket drivers who double park or block lanes and stopping zones. Each violation comes with a fine of $51. Now, the AI cameras have already been installed, but Philly is in like what I'm going to call like a grace period right now. And what they're calling, SEPTA and PPA, they're calling it a warning period, where if you're cited, you'll receive a warning until, guess when? Drum roll. April Fool's Day. 4/1/2026.
It's April Fool's Day out of all.
Exactly. So for all y'all inconsiderate drivers that been blocking my morning train and 10 trolley on my way to work, I hope y'all get every single citation y'all deserve.
Oh,
I can't tell y'all how many times I had to text my supervisor. Sometimes I would do photos, videos, Instagram lives about, yo, I'm going to be late again, and here's why. Because people literally be parked on the trolley tracks. I seen people park their cars on the tracks to go in and get their breakfast platter from the store, deliver a DoorDash where they waiting for somebody to come down from the top floor of a tall building. I done seen Ubers and Lyft park on the tracks just so they can wait for somebody who did not appear within a 5-minute grace period, or even people dropping off their dogs and the kids at daycare, and they doing this while it's ample parking spaces sometimes right where they parked at, and they just won't park, but they'll instead block the trolley like it ain't morning rush hour. So crazy. Exactly. So some of the representatives that are in on this are saying that trolleys in West Philly are constantly being thrown off schedule by folks who double park or park improperly. So y'all thought I was tripping. They know. They know. So they've also said that a single illegally parked vehicle can disrupt service for thousands of riders and create unsafe boarding conditions that force pedestrians, into moving traffic. And then we had some members of the community weighing in, and their responses were that, look, we're used to the delays. And honestly, the delays have become just as natural as breathing. I'm trying to tell y'all, not making this up. This happens every day. Yes. One guy said, if a trolley has honked his horn 5 times and you ain't came outside yet, then you need to get that fine. Another one said that the fine is for $51 was kind of steep, but he believes it'll actually act as a detriment. Another one said, look, I ain't paying $50 for no good reason, so I ain't doing that no more. Now, to answer some questions that you may have floating around in your head, maybe you're concerned about accuracy, especially when their fines are involved. Maybe you have concerns about privacy, like being recorded, passing by, or just being in a nearby vicinity. Eventually, there will be 2 cameras to support this enforcement. The first camera is an AI camera that does the initial detecting. First, it's going to identify any illegal parked vehicles, and then it's going to record the license plate, the date, the time, the location of the incident. And then the second camera, which is not an AI camera, but a standard camera, that's when it gets triggered to record the entire infraction. So that's when we go live. It's not always on. It only turns on when a violation is detected by the AI camera. People's facial features are automatically going to be blurred out. They're also going to blur out any license plates of any surrounding vehicles that it's picking up. So then these 2 combined camera footages get sent to a human PPA enforcement officer to verify. If the violation is confirmed by a human, then the driver gets a ticket. PPA is using trained humans to manually review all violations before issuing either a violation during this little grace period or a citation as of April 1st. Now, here's what we don't know. Officials have not said how long this program is going to last or if it's going to be permanent. But honestly, I don't see this AI technology going anywhere, especially when it comes to traffic enforcement efforts. Why spark? More money.
That's crazy.
So honestly, I thought about this, and I thought about traffic court and getting citations and fines, and I was kind of wondering, like, how do you get out of this if you're in one of these situations? And it's going to be exceptionally hard to see your car register at your home address with a couple with a second camera that'll pick you up, walk into the car wearing your blue Nikes and your black North Face and argue, y'all, yeah, that wasn't me. And they sitting there looking right at you. So let me tell you a little story about what landed me in court as a defendant when I was trying to defend myself. When I actually did block the 10 trolley. This was way before there were AI cameras, but it was still those basic standard cameras. I defended myself in a little, like an administrative hearing, and I won, but not in the traditional sense. I had valid justification for why I was blocking the trolley. I did actually block the trolley. I did not deny I blocked the trolley. In fact, I invited them to call the police because I had already called them twice myself. And while they was 3 blocks away, they didn't show up. So I was coming home from work. It was nice outside, sunny. I had nobody waiting on me, nowhere to go, nothing to do. I wasn't in a rush, but I ain't a particularly slow driver. But I'm literally at my block, parked at a red light, just waiting, got my turning signal on so I can turn onto my block and park. Somebody texting and driving decides to boom, rear end me, right? At a high speed, like he ain't never know the light was red behind us, like or in front of us. So he rear-ended me. The car didn't move, thank God, but In shock, I got out the car like He-Man, ran over to his car, yanked open his door, and started screaming like, why would you do something like that? And you still got your phone in your hand, you still texting? I was hot. The adrenaline was pumping. Yes. Then here we go. A few minutes later, he's trying to get out of it. Like, hey, let me pay you. And I'm like, and he's telling me he ain't got no insurance. This is his girlfriend's car. He was about to go to her house. I don't care about none of that. No. And lo and behold, the trolley come, and I'm like, no, I'm calling the police. But guess what happened? This was right after the police decided they was never showing up for car accidents unless there was an injury. So we literally 3 blocks from the police station. I could have walked over there. I called them. They didn't come. He's still trying to escape. The train pull up behind us, and he's trying to back up and pull out so he can get unstuck from us so he can skirt. No, bro, you paying for this car. They come, and here come the traffic cop, like, oh, you got to move because now it's 3 and 4 or 5 Charlies. That's how long we was out there. They're all backed up. It is rush hour. I admit that I, messed up a whole lot of people's afternoons. But there was one stop from the depot station. Y'all could have got them buses to come get them, or they could have walked. We was right at the end of the line. And they issued me a ticket for not moving. I'm like, do you not observe this is an accident scene? Yes, I've called the police twice. In fact, I'm going to call them again while you're here. And since y'all work together, why don't you tell your boys in blue to come around the corner? Like,
yeah, exactly. They're right there.
I was going off. I wasn't trying to hear it. And so the police didn't come. And eventually that adrenaline, it went away. And I literally started declining. People had to come over and help me get in the car, sit down. I was kind of in a daze. I didn't know what was going on. People was getting me water. Like, he actually injured me. So now they gotta call somebody or ambulance to take me to the hospital. I'm like, even though I'm in a haze, I'm like, I'm not paying $300 for the ambulance. Like, call a friend, call a friend. Yes. So we get out of there, and I call him when I get to the hospital, and I said, listen, I'm going to have to sue you. Not because I'm looking for a payout or whatever, and you don't have insurance, and you may never pay me, whatever. I'm not even vengeful like that, but now I'm about to have medical bills, and I shouldn't be stuck with these on my own. So the girlfriend grabbed the phone. She laying me out on speakerphone while we in the hospital, but I still got that ticket. Yes, I did what I did. I take off for work. I go down there to the administrative hearing. I tell the lady my side of the story, and she looking at me the whole time like, And when I finished talking, she asked me no questions. She said, case dismissed. I said,
but let me tell you why the case got dismissed.
The officer never put the ticket in the system.
All that yelling and fighting, you ain't gonna put the ticket in the system?
I would have been so mad.
That's because you knew you was wrong. You can't give me a ticket for this.
Right. It's an accident.
Word of the story. You never pay up if you think you got a justifiable reason. Go down there and fight it out. Duke it out with the administration and see what happens. Because somebody just might make a mistake intentionally.
Wow. You don't always lose. Wow. Some people just pay the ticket because they're like, I'm going to lose anyway.
Exactly. Or they can't take time off of work, which they'll be forced to pay. Right. Exactly. Good thing I had a good supervisor, that same supervisor that always let me be late for the train. Shout out to you.
You're an Esquire though. So,
right. Yeah. But my work was going to get done. So right. I'll get there when I get there.
Hire yourself.
Exactly. Okay. All right, next up I got an image. You got it, Charles?
No, I couldn't get it out.
No worries. This is also about SEPTA. Right now they're handing out more helpful ways to get around town. So they're rolling out, in addition to this AI thing, a new pilot program where SEPTA is erecting digital solar-powered screens at bus and trolley stops to display real-time arrivals for passengers. Right on. That's right. The screens will be small and mounted to bus stop poles all across the city. And for blind and low vision riders, each device is going to be equipped with text-to-speech buttons so they can also access the information. SEPTA said they listened to riders and now they have delivered. The first 10 will be erected later this spring, but SEPTA hasn't said which areas they'll begin in. In fact, SEPTA has a link on their website where you can give suggestions or where you would like to see these devices. So not everybody run at once. Y'all can get them at your bus stops and trolley stops. That's a good thing. Thank you, SEPTA. Now, in other travel-related news, this is an alert, citywide alert to Honda owners. The police major crimes unit is investigating a car theft ring that is targeting Hondas throughout Philly. Last year, more than 2,600 cars were stolen.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And 30% of them were Hondas, specifically Accords and CRVs, but Civics also made the list of the top 10 most targeted vehicles. The Hondas in general are the number one target because their parts are universal. So in Roxborough, one couple had their 2020 Honda Accord stolen this February from Manayunk Avenue. But this couple had an air tag in their car. So let me tell you what happened. This story is interesting to me because these two clearly morphed into Batman and Robin and they avenged themselves. Right. The story had no mention of police, no mention of flyers being posted, no rewards being offered. These two, they go find their car in West Philly on the 800 block of North 45th Street. But when they got there, their key fob was not responsive. So basically, whoever stole their car had the car reprogrammed to match
that's
exactly
right.
to match the thieves' new key, which removed the couple's key from the programming. So let me tell you what Batman and Robin did next. They decided they still didn't call the police, right? They called a tow truck and got their car towed and had there you go, exactly.
That's right. Shout out to them.
Exactly.
That's West Philly for you. Shout out to West Philly.
That's right.
West Side. Yeah.
So they got their keys reprogrammed, and then they added some anti-theft accessories to their Honda, including a club. They went to publicly share their story because they wanted to help other Honda owners because there's an awareness that this is happening repeatedly in neighborhoods. So if you're listening, tell a friend or somebody you know with a Honda. I am definitely glad that nothing happened to Batman and Robin while they pursued their quest to take back what's rightfully belongs to them. I don't suggest this though, because you never know what you're going to find. So if you AirTag your car, please always involve the police in your requests. Now, in addition to this, residents in South Philly are also reporting a series of car thefts in multiple neighborhoods. But these people involve the police, okay? One resident said his car has been stolen 3 times. Twice his car was stolen from a parking lot at Front and Christian, and the gate was locked, gated, and had video surveillance. And he says, I'm driving a 97 with 380,000 miles on it. So that just goes to show you that they're targeting both old and new cars. Since then, the police have increased their visibility in the neighborhood because they've seen evidence of many cars being stolen. Some are being stolen from a free parking lot beneath I-95 in Pensport, and you can see glass constantly shattered on the ground and cars with stolen tires. All 4 of them be gone. Other vehicles are using relay technology which give the thieves access to your car without actually having your key. So they actually can unlock your car from a distance and you never know, and they can just peel off in it. On a personal note, my colleague had her car stolen twice, once near her home, and as soon as she got it back and drove it to work, she got it stolen again in Center City.
What kind of car she had?
She got a Subaru.
Oh, okay.
And we were in a privately owned high-rise parking structure in Center City where we were working. With police assistance, she did get her car back. Then my neighbor had the car stolen while they were in a secured, gated apartment complex in South Philly where the car was parked overnight. But with police assistance, that car was located at a chop shop in North Philly. And get this thief left his wallet in the front seat. So they definitely booked him.
Wow.
Exactly. And now for this last segment, also transportation related, we're talking about futuristic transport of food. So if you live, work, shop, play in downtown Philly, you may have encountered robots traveling alongside of you. Uber Eats has launched robots in Center City only for now, as it's just a pilot program catering to a small number of restaurants to pick up your food and navigate through pedestrians and road traffic to deliver your food to you. They only deliver from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. as they operate on a lithium battery that only has 12 hours per charge. They navigate kind of similar to the GPS system in your car. You can track them just like you can track the drivers, and you'll be notified when it reaches your door, just like you're notified when there's an actual driver. The food travels in an insulated compartment that can only be opened by meeting your robot and then using your phone to scan it for it to open. And you don't have to tip the robots. So any tips that you add, they're not going to actually charge you. If you haven't seen them, they're pretty compact, really low to the ground. So you'll kind of need to bend over or kneel to open the box to get your food. I did get to see a friend who captured a video downtown outside of one of the courthouses. And it was sitting at a light trying to cross the street for a very long time. And it seemed like it did not know what it was going to do at that intersection. But I do hope it all goes well and that y'all are not getting cold food. Also, I think it's pretty cool, but especially if you're navigating traffic, not being able to park downtown, things like that. I get why they're doing it. But again, like we talked about earlier in the show, we have a very interesting culture in Philly. So I'm just hoping that people will just let things be and not tamper with them. And that's a wrap.
And that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Dynamic stories. But I do want to bring up this one comment because I thought it was important. Monica, again, with the resources, the knowledge, she always got the juice. Always got the juice. Police are also giving out clubs for Hondas. You just have to call and ask. Yeah. And I heard that. Yeah, because apparently Hondas are really easy to steal. But they're great cars.
Yeah.
Right? And you got 200,000 miles people are driving and they still working. Those old cars are great. And I think a lot of people are still known for those catalytic converters too.
Oh, yeah.
They need them catalytic converters, right? And so shout out to the T. Shout out, give you a round of applause for that.
No problem.
All right, next up, we got our interview. We got a jam-packed show. I don't want you guys to go anywhere because when we come back, you already know what's good. I love the interviews. We'll be right back after this, y'all. Hello. It's your favorite fly guy, Charles Gregory. We Talk Weekly. Listen, everyone always asks me, they inbox me, email me, all types of things. We're trying to find your podcast. I mean, we can find your videos everywhere. All we have to do is go to wetalkweekly.com, or all we need to do is go to YouTube, or all we need to do is turn on Business Bully channel, turn on Higher Than 7, turn on, we can find you. But sometimes I just want to work out and I want to listen to the podcast. I want to hear the latest in sizzle, entertainment news, or good news and bad news, or just simply, I want to hear interviews, some music, anything sports. I just want to listen. I don't know where to find your podcast. I said, you know what? It's real simple. All you gotta do is ask the right person. Watch this. Hey Alexa, play We Talk Weekly's podcast.
Here's We Talk Weekly from Amazon Music. Here's where you left off in the latest episode. Olivia Jade Red Table Talk, Kevin Hart Backlash for Netflix special No F's Given, and more.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to We Talk Weekly's After the Talk. And I'm your boy Charles Gregory, the beautiful.
Classy Lady Sparkle.
See, I told you. It's not that hard, ladies and gentlemen. All you have to do is ask the right person. Ask Alexa. Look, I'm out here. Thanks for watching. Keep supporting. Keep subscribing. Keep telling people to chime in. We out here like last year. Hello. Talking WPPMP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We Talk Weeklies After the Talk with your boy Charles Gregory and the beautiful
Classy Lady Sparkle.
and the beautiful
Lauren Sizzle.
and the beautiful
Tanisha Henry.
And we are definitely in the building tonight. Super excited about what we have coming up next because you know I love the interviews. So Classy Lady, who do we have today?
Today we have GIovani Lane Walker. She is a scientist turned strategist and a CEO of Lane Change Strategy. She helps companies fix broken workplace culture and rebuild trust. She works with leaders to create spaces where people feel seen, valued, comfortable, and showing up as themselves every day. Y'all already know what to do. Let's give a warm We Talk Weekly welcome to GIovani Lane Walker.
How are you?
Hello, everyone. Hi. So happy to be here.
I'm super excited to have you today. And so one of the things that we do when we have our guests, you know, we always ask, how was your day? How was your day today?
Oh, my day was good. I actually went to a celebration of life.
Okay.
And so was able to, praise the Lord and glorify his name and celebrate a life that was well lived.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And so, we Talk Weekly always say, once you come to the show, you're a friend of the show, so you're always welcome to come back. So I want to make sure that, we put that out there for you because we always love the people who come to the show. But I want to start with, let's start from the beginning, right? You're talking about so much information, so much knowledge base you have. Let's talk about your schooling.
My schooling.
Yes,
Okay.
your schooling,
Sure.
that wealth of knowledge that you have, and going from one school to another and all that information. Let's start there. Man.
Okay. Well, I'll start at high school
Okay.
because we don't need to go all the way back to elementary.
It's all good.
Okay. So I actually graduated from Strawberry Mansion.
Well, shout out to
Wow.
Yes, North Philly in the
Yeah.
house. And from there, went to Virginia State University. Got my bachelor's in biology, pre-medicine.
Right.
Of course, I thought I wanted to be a doctor, but
God had other plans for me.
Mhm.
So I came back home to Philadelphia, worked in the science field, so doing research at University of Pennsylvania, and did some research on AIDS and HIV, SIV viruses,
Right.
and then just kind of transitioned my career in science to do research in academia,
Right.
then biotechnology, and ultimately pharmaceuticals. And so that's where I landed. And then from there, just kind of progressed my career from science to an HR capacity,
Mhm.
looking at diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Fantastic. And since you jumped on it, I think that's and I was going to ask a different question, but since we're talking about DEI, right? We all know what, our current president, how he feels about DEI. And so because that was part of the field that, you amplified and you worked hard under, what are your feelings about this new conversation about DEI and now belonging, so to speak?
Yeah, so DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, has always been a piece of how we come together and work. And so because we're having the conversation now and DEI is considered a bad word, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's gone away. It still exists,
absolutely,
just redefined in a way that is around belonging and fairness and opportunity and whatever other words you want to give to it, right? So ultimately, it just means to kind of make sure that we are creating organizations that are fair and equitable and giving opportunity to the people that need it.
Right.
Do you think that DEI has helped companies for specifically, let's just say, Black people where they had to code switch at one point? Do you think that it amplified people to feel like they can be themselves, similar to what the Crown Act did? What's your thoughts on that?
So I would say yes. And so I think that it did give an opportunity for Black people to see themselves in higher positions, because at that point we were being developed and given opportunities to develop ourselves for greater roles in the organizations that we were going to. However, now that there's this disparaging cloud over DEI and things are being rolled back, I think that it's causing a negative rollback of what DEI was supposed to be in organizations.
Wow. I see you nodding over there, Tanisha.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Question?
I know. It's the code switching for me, because I still have to do that in my role in society. But I find myself doing it just so that people who look like me, who are coming to a place where everyone else and what's set into place is typically not like them, or probably what they weren't included in the thought process of, I code switch to make them feel comfortable, so they can know, hey, we're relatable. I understand what you're talking about. I can read between the lines of what you're trying to communicate to me. So I do it to be helpful, but I do wish we lived in a world where communication could just be free flowing and people didn't feel those limitations. So I really appreciate the work that you're doing. This makes me happy.
Thank you.
What made you switch in looking at the community overall from being, in science and then switching over to either, strategy?
That's a really good question. So I'll talk about my transition from being a lab scientist going into the diversity, equity, and inclusion space. And so basically I was always the only Black woman in science related fields, in all of the organizations, the departments that I was in. And so I would go to career fairs and seek out people that look like me to let them know, hey, I'm here. I represent you in this field, and you can come and be welcomed and have a career in science if you want to. So that's how I kind of transitioned, because I wanted to see other people that look like me where I was. And so transitioned my role from being in science to being more of someone doing outreach and creating opportunities and developmental projects and programs to bring them in so that they can see people that look like them. I feel like employee resource groups played a really heavy part of that, because I was affiliated with employee resource groups. And so they give you the opportunity to kind of reach out and do that grassroots work that's necessary to show the young folks that we are in organizations like, you know, the big pharmaceutical companies, and you too can find yourself in them too.
Yeah, I think that's a great transition to talk about lane change?
It's lane change strategies.
Lane change strategies, because when we talk about you know, you helping organizations, let's talk a little bit about that, and what was the impetus in starting? You know?
So it actually started because of the work that's being done to roll back DEI, right? So the executive orders that came out that were kind of disbanding DEI and what it meant to organizations that were embedding DEI practices into the work. And so what I realized was we still will have DEI, but it'll be named something different. Yeah. And organizations, they didn't know what to do after the executive orders were put out, but they knew that having diverse individuals in their organization, creating opportunities, making sure that opportunities were being delivered in an equitable manner, and people had a culture of inclusion in an organization, it was necessary, but they didn't know how to do it. And so that's where I come in to kind of help organizations understand how they can continue to do the diversity, equity, and inclusion work and remain compliant with what they're saying is illegal, or, you know, within the lines of what is legal versus not.
Now, what does that look like for diversity, equity, inclusion? Some, on a layman's term, may think, is that affirmative action, or is that something where I feel as though I'm being marginalized based on my gender, my ethnicity, whatever that is, that makes me different? What is it that, you know, what a person do, and if they seek out a DI strategist or someone to help them, like what is it? What would be the steps that they could take if they feel marginalized against a company or organization?
Well, yes, you should have some type of a speak up channel that you can go to and make a report that you're being discriminated against or what have you. But DEI kind of culminates all of those things. So making sure that, you know, we have representation, we have fairness that is across the board. We don't have any discriminatory practices that are happening in your organization. And we're given opportunities to advance ourselves. And what was your other question?
Just what does that look like, though, as far as diversity, equity, inclusion? When I hear it, I'm like, okay, I know that it's something that would be for people so that they don't feel marginalized. Right. But when we did have it where they've had different type of departments or people that would look over that, what is it that they want to teach the leadership team? What is it that they want to teach to the staff? What is that? What does that proposal look like?
Yeah, so that it's interesting that you say that. So oftentimes, or I'll say before the executive orders, there were a lot of organizations that were doing DEI wrong, in that they were just wanting to meet quotas. They were putting out metrics to say we need to make sure that we have X amount of Black people or Latinx people in these roles. And so that's when the negative vibe came about DEI, because folks then started to feel like, well, they don't have the proper education to be in those types of roles, or they don't have enough seniority to be in those types of roles. You're only putting them in those roles because of their color. And so that is absolutely the wrong way to do DEI. And that's why we're now finding ourselves rolling it back, because of the wrong nature that people were doing DEI work. And so now how it should be looked at is kind of understanding and diagnosing what is happening at the systems level of an organization when it comes to their culture, kind of like disbanding it and then rebuilding it back up. So that's what I do. I want to diagnose and understand what's going on in the systems of the organization. What are the behaviors that the leadership have that are voluntarily or involuntarily harming the culture and making it not be a place where people feel like they belong and are included, and give them the tools to do that. Because, as people that work in an organization, the number one thing or reason why people leave an organization is normally because of their manager.
Yeah.
And so if you help your managers or train your managers to become leaders that have inclusive behaviors, then ultimately you'll be able to keep the people, retain the people, because you're building the trust up, because they are learning those tools and skills to build the trust up on their teams, and they can get the most out of their team. So what I'm doing is helping organizations get highest performance out of their people through creating cultures of belonging.
Interesting. So I'm just curious how you would address, say, for example, our current mayor of Philadelphia, who had this challenge where people feel like she started to pivot when it came to her DEI plan, whatever, no longer, or stepping back from DEI. So if one of her consultants or strategists came to you and was to ask you, well, what would you recommend for me to do so it doesn't look like I'm potentially going against a community, but I'm still trying to navigate what's necessary for the commands of the federal government, so to speak. How would you go about that?
Well, for one, I would tell them to make sure that they're staying within the confines of what the law is saying about DEI. And there really isn't anything written in law that says you can't practice DEI in an organization. And so as long as you are continuing to remain aligned with EEOC policies, then you'll be fine. What's been, I guess, put out into the atmosphere is that DEI is a bad word, right? And so
it's a curse word.
A lot of people have rolled back and kind of tucked their tail between their legs and ran because of the fact that they are affiliated with government contracting and federal grants and monies and stuff like that. And so hence the fact that the mayor chose to do what she did, because of the fact that, okay, I need to kind of weigh out my options. Do I want to take away the money that is coming from the federal government and lose on delivering whatever I've promised to the people of Philadelphia because I'm standing firm on, I'm doing DEI anyway? Or can we pivot how we're reframing doing this work and still kind of maintain being compliant with what the law states when it comes to DEI practices? So I would tell them to make sure that they're reading law and staying within the confines of law, but continue to do the work.
Now I'm gonna bring counselor in right now. In terms of when someone has to navigate or kind of walk through that gray area, right? What's the best way to do that without crossing the line, so to speak, if you understand that?
And do you mean someone from an administrative perspective or like an employee? So definitely you can't work within your own mind. You bring in your legal team, your strategists, those who have worked with the EEOC and kind of have read through the lines and understand the fine print, and then know where the gray areas are, because the gray areas are where things are not easily explained or not readily broken down into things that you can apply. So it requires some work through. It requires other minds. It requires legal approaches. It requires people who have history working in DEI, so that all those minds can come together and kind of work through, this is going to be the framework that we're going to do. And most of the times you don't know what's going to work. You just have to try. You put something together and you work within what all the minds have brought together, and you start somewhere. And with anything, mistakes will be made. You'll figure out where those are, and you'll clean up and kind of navigate around that to build something.
Fantastic. So with your organization, do you see a breakthrough? Do you see a aha moment with the work that you do? Do you see any challenges with the work that you do when we thinking about your strategic plan with your organization? What are your thoughts on that in terms of you constantly building and growing?
So I feel like being able to give them clarity in a really ambiguous, complex situation is really helpful. That's when the aha moments come, because they then start to look inward and examine what's happening in our four walls. How can we create change that ultimately impacts our bottom line? Because if we really think about it, it all is based on, what are our shareholders saying and how are we making the money that we want to make? But so they need to kind of look internal. And so I think that that's when the aha moments come into play, when they kind of turn off what's happening outside and think about, well, how are we structured? What can we do that is going to impact not only the bottom line, but the people? Because if we impact the people, that's going to impact our bottom line.
I have a question. And this is kind of like a pushback to what was, I guess, the consensus of a lot of people when DEI was, before, I guess it was, canceled, dismantled. There was a percentage that they stated which DEI represented more white women than it was intended for as far as Black people. It was more intended for the LGBTQ community. It was, so with that being said, could you give us a more, I guess, from it being your wheelhouse, educated information that will let us know, was that intended for us? And why is it that we're fighting so hard for something that numbers are showing it didn't benefit us?
That's a really good question. And I think you're mainly talking about affirmative action, right? And so, yes, affirmative action was put in place for us. And I feel like, over time, people kind of hitched their wagon to our train, but then kind of flipped the script and used it for themselves. And we as Black people, we always allow people to kind of hitch their self.
We always
to
protecting everybody.
And are protecting everybody, and we're not protecting ourselves.
That's right.
And I think that, if we could get together and band together and just kind of do the work for ourselves, that we would have much more success. But yes, affirmative action was created for us.
Okay. So the DEI numbers are really for people who were saying that they were looking at the affirmative action type of, because when you run the DEI percentage and you're looking for diversity, equity, inclusion, percentages show that it's really for, like I said, the LGBTQ community and more for the white women community. It doesn't benefit, let's just say, Black women. Are those numbers speaking towards DEI, or are those numbers from what you just said, like the affirmative action? Because I'm thinking of it more from a DEI. Because we actually had a guest on the show who was speaking about that, saying that they, with the administration now canceling DEI and saying, hey, it wasn't even something that benefited us. That's why I wanted you to let us know, no, that's incorrect. DEI did benefit us. DEI was something that did help, Black women in, corporate America to be able to be not on the pay scale of, being unrepresented.
Right.
Yeah. And before you jump into that, I think the context was about using the word minority groups.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when we talk about minority groups, historically you had these quote unquote marginalized groups, which included women as being a marginalized group, and it pointed more towards white women and black women just kind of looped into black folk as
Right.
opposed to right. And
Right.
so these are the disenfranchised groups, whatever. So I just wanted to get some context
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the question is it something that benefits
Mhm.
us? DEI, well, I guess it's going to be framed another word, but is in,
here.
from
It's belonging
It's
now.
all the same.
yeah. But
Mhm.
is it something that benefits us?
I feel as though it does.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel as though DEI, belonging, inclusion work, it does benefit us.
Mhm.
But then at the same time, it benefits the whole. So like it's going to
Mhm.
benefit those marginalized
Yeah,
groups that you
yeah.
talked about, right? So we then get lumped into the marginalized group category. But I mean, as Black women, we're the most educated demographic in the world. So, I mean, I don't know what else more to say.
Yeah, the numbers show that.
The numbers show that.
They do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. Yeah.
Last question.
Mhm.
When staff is coming to leadership and they're saying that they are burnt out and they're not so much underpaid, just burnt out. What is something that with your company, your organization could help other organizations and companies that you talk to their staff or talk to their leadership on how to help staff members because of work-life balance?
That's a really good one. I would probably try to understand what are the dynamics, the working dynamics in the team. Is there something where we can kind of level the playing field as far as workload is concerned? Is somebody taking on more than what they should? And kind of try to unpack that, diagnose what's going on inside of the organization so that we can kind of recalibrate and rebalance what's going on. But then also to understand what kind of benefits packages do you have for your employees? Do they have an opportunity to talk to a counselor? What does time off look like? Those are the types of things that I would kind of try to unpack to understand, well, what's really going on? Because there's something that's happening in this system that's causing your people to be burnt out.
Awesome.
Yeah. So when we get to, moving forward, right, and we think of like your organization and the legacy that you would like to leave for that, what does that look like for you? What would that be?
For me, the legacy that I would leave is creating organizations that help people thrive, where everyone feels as though they belong, that they can come there and be their whole selves to whatever capacity that is. I did hear Sis back there talk about code switching.
Yeah.
That is very real. So we want to make it a place where, because we spend most of our time at work.
Yeah.
We want to make work a place where you can feel free to be there and not have to code switch. That's what I want to do. I want to make work be free. Yeah.
The funny thing about code switching, right, is most Black folk know or understand what code switching is. White folk don't necessarily understand it, right? Because they never really had to do that.
Exactly.
And when they do it, it's more of a mockery or trying to kind of colonize a culture, so to speak, right? We do it because it's necessary. It's a necessity for us, right? And so when we think of like code switching, is it actually a bad thing? Like when you think of code switching, the in the context, right? If we really pull back the layers to have a discourse, is code switching a bad thing?
I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a sad thing.
I
think it's sad that we have to do that.
I love that. Yeah.
My husband and I are on a Blackish binge.
I thought I was the only one who watched that.
Oh no, we watch it all the time. And they were talking about code switching, and he had to kind of school his colleagues on, well, what does that mean? It's like your voice when you call the insurance company, when you call the electric company. So I don't think it's a bad thing, but I do think it's a sad thing that we shouldn't have to do, because we should be able to be ourselves.
Yeah, fantastic. I would I'll make sure I let your husband know to watch Black AF too.
Oh, that's our show too.
That's how you can round of applause for Black. That's one of my favorite shows.
Exactly.
They canceled it too quick.
Yes, they
canceled
did.
it too
Yes,
quick,
they
you know,
did.
so shout out to you. I want to thank you for coming to the show. And before we let you go, why don't you let everyone know how they can get in contact with you? Do you have any thing coming up so people can kind of follow all that good stuff?
Absolutely, for sure. So you can reach me on my website at lanechangestrategies.com. I do have leadership briefs that I run on a monthly schedule, and the next one is all about the trust collapse. It's going to happen on April 23rd from 6 to 7 p.m. You get some free diagnostics and a tool to take into work in that week after you attend.
Oh,
Interesting.
nice.
What does a tool look like? So when you're saying a tool, what is that?
So you'll get a diagnosis on where you fall as a leader in your trust capacity in your team. And then we'll talk about how you can implement trust or start to begin building trust on your team next week.
So that's important.
Yeah. So so do they sit down to get that? How do they get the tool? Like what is it like?
So I have a toolkit that's all based on trust and how you can
like
build
templates.
Templates, scripting, all of those types of things.
I got
yes.
We need to talk because I see an AI app for that.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I definitely see that, and that's something we could talk about.
The AI guy.
Yeah, because I
love.
I'm like,
I'm all on Claude right now.
Okay, we need
Claude,
to know.
okay, yeah.
We need to ask about
Sure.
AI because we're doing basically. We Talk Weekly has been doing platforms and panels about AI, and actually Charles just did two of them, right? Workshops.
Yeah, workshops.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the questions are about AI. What's your thoughts on it? Do you think it should stay around? Is it helpful? What's your thoughts?
I absolutely love AI. I'm all over Claude right now. He and I are coworkers, best friends. But yeah, I absolutely love AI, and I think that it should be utilized as much as it can be. But at the same time, I'm a sci-fi movie watcher, and I don't know, is AI going to take over? We don't know.
Wow.
It's yet to be determined. But I do love AI, and I do think that it should stay around, and I think that everybody should learn to begin to use it and use it properly. Of course, then we talk about the legal aspect of it and the ethics of it, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down. But I love AI, and it should stay around.
Fantastic. How can I get back in contact with you, Rogan?
Sure. lanechangestrategies.com. As I said, we have leadership briefs. The next one is on the trust collapse on April 23rd. Looking forward to seeing people there.
Fantastic. All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. What a fantastic interview. I appreciate you for coming. And one thing we say is once you come to the show, you're a friend to the show, so you're always welcome to come back. So without further ado, classy lady, we're in the building. You ready? To go out for real quick.
I'm about to say.
You're supposed to be with me. All right, y'all, don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after this. We got another dynamic interview, y'all. We'll be right back.
News, reporter Ella presents a new recipe that can help feed the community. Over to you, Ella.
Thanks, Willow. Now that fall is upon us, what's not a better way to start the fall season than an easy and simple recipe? Pumpkin bread is the most delicious and easiest food you can make for yourself, family and friends, and your community. Take a look. Today we're going to make pumpkin bread, so make sure you screenshot this recipe and let's get started. First, preheat your oven to 350 degrees. In one of your bowls, mix your flour, baking soda, baking powder, salt, and pumpkin pie spice. With your fork, mix. Now with your second bowl, mix your sugar, oil, and applesauce with a whisk. Once everything is mixed together, add your pumpkin and mix again. When everything is mixed evenly, combine both mixtures together. Make sure you scrape everything out so nothing is wasted. Now mix evenly until there's no lumps. After that, you want to set that aside and grab your bread pan. Lather some butter all around and add a little flour and spread it around until it looks like this. Now you want to pour the bread batter into the bread pan. Make sure you scrape everything out so nothing is wasted. Cut a line in the middle and it's ready for the oven. Make sure you are oven mitts and let the bread bake for 60 minutes. Once the 60 minutes is up, take it out of the oven and let it sit for a few minutes. When the bread pan is safe to touch, use a straight edge to separate the pan and bread. This step is optional, but if you would like, slice the bread into thick slices and it should look something like this. You are all done. Dig in and enjoy your pumpkin bread. This pumpkin bread is the perfect way to feed your family, friends, and your community. Willow, what did you think about this recipe?
I think that this recipe is perfect for the rising fall weather. Substituting the egg with the applesauce is a great option for others with an egg allergy.
Thanks, Willow. I'm Ella Guanzon reporting for Youth Civic News. Back to you, Willow.
We Talk Weeklies after the talk of WPPMLP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We Talk Weeklies after the talk with your boy Charles Gregory and the beautiful
Classy Lady Sparkle.
and the beautiful
Lauren Sizzle.
and our other beautiful Tisha is in the building right now. She's running her mouth. She's supposed to be on camera right now, but it's all good. It's all good. So who's doing the honors? Who do we have today?
Oh my goodness. We have Dr. Nia Imani Bailey. She's a West Philadelphia native, radiation therapist, and advocate dedicated to advancing equitable, compassionate care for underserved communities. Appointed by Governor Josh Shapiro, she uses her voice and lived experience to drive change in healthcare, policy, and community empowerment. Y'all already know what to do. Let's give a warm We Talk Weekly welcome to Dr. Nia Imani Bailey.
Jeez, all these smart folks, man. All the women in STEM and
I love
these doctors and geez, I feel a little undereducated right now, you know. But I like to welcome you to the show. How we always start with how was your day? How you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm here. God woke me up this morning. I'm good.
I know
can't
that's
complain.
right. I know that's
And
right.
she just has an aura too. I can feel the energy.
No doubt. Why don't you fix her mic real quick? Help
Like
her out.
this?
Yeah,
Okay.
there she go. There you go. So I want to jump right into it because just like our last guest, we always start with kind of like the education piece and what got you. And let's start there, like because that's we can build up your wealth of knowledge because you're like a walking brain right now, right? And so, come on, Doc. It's one of those things. So let's talk there. We start for your undergrad and let's work our way up. Yeah, for sure.
My family always called me Doc. I wanted to be an obstetrician because of the Cosby Show. I was like, I want to do that.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But then
no
I
doubt.
volunteered in labor and delivery, and I'm like, there's no way I'm ever doing
But
that.
how about the Cosby Show was motivation?
Of course, you
Like,
kidding me?
wow.
Claire and all that. And then my family was like, you're going to be a civil rights lawyer. You're always for the people. And I volunteered. I said, no way. There's no way. But it wasn't until my father had prostate cancer, I got into the same field that helped cured him. So when I volunteered in radiation oncology, I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. And I've been doing it right out of school for 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're going to have to let the men know how prostate exams are needed.
You
Yes.
kidding me?
Scores, the whole
thing is
PSA,
important,
yeah.
and even knowing your breast, like my mom's uncle Bobby passed away of breast cancer. And a lot of men don't understand that they can get breast cancer. So, pour into yourself. As Black people, we always work. But if you're not healthy, you can't work. So you got to make sure you get the screenings, you take care of yourself, you get exercise, you eat nutritiously, all those things. So if you pour into yourself, you can do all the great things in your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what you said about the about checking your body,
Yeah.
a lot of times I saw a study that said that we're living longer, but we're not thriving.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. We have all this innovative therapy. We talked about AI, laparoscopic, robotic type of stuff,
Right.
but if we're living past the line of let's just say 70,
Right.
do we have quality of life?
Right.
What are we doing to help that? But we could talk about that later.
Yeah.
Tell us about how you got into the field that you're in.
My father, he had prostate cancer. A lot of people in my family have cancer, from pancreatic to liver to multiple myeloma to lung. You name it, we had it. So I needed to make sure I got into the same field that could potentially help my family. And I wanted to learn about risk reduction. I wanted to learn about the different treatments, survivorship, and everything in between. So I felt like if I got into this field, I would be able to help all people, but specifically my people.
So you advocate for your family,
course.
basically with the conversation with the health, with what the health is going on now. When I worked in oncology for 30 years and radiation oncology. And I actually stopped working in that field based on the death rate that I kept seeing. And I'm looking at it to say, is it just the US? Is it other places that, we say we're a value-based care type of model, but is it really about the financial gain that they're getting? Tell us about how people can be able to advocate for themselves when they're dealing with the health system in order for them to have a better clinical outcome?
Absolutely. We were born with a voice, and you need to know you have power in your voice. So you know your body better than anybody. So if you feel like there's been a change in your normal, and if your provider is not listening to you, you can fire your provider. I always tell people there would be no doctor if there was no patient. So you have that power. If you say, hey, there's something going on with me, and the provider's not listening, go to another provider. Tell them, hey, my breast is hurting. I've been having headaches. My stool has changed, which can be indicative of colon cancer. So first you have to know you're normal, and then you just use your voice and say, hey, there's something going on. You need to listen to me. And if you don't feel like you have that voice, get an advocate yourself, your family member, your neighbor, your church member, whomever, because I can understand when you don't feel well, you don't have the energy to advocate for yourself. Right. You can call me, you can call whomever, and we will do that advocating for you, because so that you can get to a life that you are thriving and not just surviving.
I see our Esquire shaking her head back there saying yes to all of what you're saying. Tanisha, let us know from even a legal perspective, when you're in the health system and you feel like there's a neglect. Does a patient, or let's just say a person, have anything to stand on legally, Tanisha?
So I think that when people are patients, and like she was saying, you're not feeling your best, your mind isn't going there. Like, what are my rights? I need help. I need help now. I need to feel better, even if it's just momentarily. And then long term, I want a diagnosis and how I can get through this. And you're trusting that the doctors are there and the nurses are there to do exactly what you're asking them to do, make you feel better, get you to the other side. You're trusting that they're listening to you. But unfortunately, oftentimes we see that people are not. Things are going in one ear and out the other. Even for me, I have to warn my doctors, even the ones I see regularly, I am not your textbook patient. I fall in that 1%, the stuff that you never see, the stuff that you gloss past in school. I'm abnormal on every chart and every scale. So if I tell you something, I mean what I say, and you need to apply whatever the differences are to me. But I'm an attorney. I'm going to fight. And if if I don't have the strength, I'm going to call somebody like her, because I know she'll get the job done. But you get into that legal fight kind of at the end sometimes, when you've already lost so much of the battle, when you've already spent so much money, when you've already gone through so many doctors. And then sometimes people are depleted and don't even want to do that. My family, when they go to the emergency room, they got me on speakerphone. When I go to the emergency room, my nurse friends will show up, because even though I'm an attorney and I can advocate for myself, there are things that I just don't know. And so, from like Dr. Nia was saying, it takes a community approach to get the job done. So like she said, if you're feeling like you can call this one. I was not in my head extra fast, because this one is going to get out there and get something done. I have seen her in action. She is definitely an advocate. She ain't got to know you, and she never going to ask you for a dime, because that's what matters. People matter. So people are out here, y'all.
She outside. Catch her outside. Catch her outside. Right? Listen, this is new for me, right? You got like 10 letters behind your name,
Father,
right?
help us.
Let's talk about, because I've never seen half of this stuff. All right, so DPA M.A.E.D.R.T.T. Let's talk a little bit about that. That's new for me. Jesus. That's why I said she's a walking brain.
Oh my gosh. Doctorate in public administration, master's in education with a concentration in bilingual bicultural studies, and radiation therapist, technologist.
I love it. When do you
But my best title is child of God. Like, none of that really matters.
I know that.
None of that really matters.
Fantastic, man. So, where can I oh man. So we talked a little bit about your education. We talked about your work. When you look at where you are today, right, and all the things that you have accomplished, is it something that you say to yourself, Dad, if I would have known then what I know, if I would have known now what I knew then, right, what would you have changed?
That's a great question. I don't actually feel like I've accomplished a lot, because there's still people dying of cancer. So I don't feel like that. But I wish that I would have known that eating healthy and moving your body is good. I wish I would have known that, Nia, don't smoke the hookah in college. Don't binge drink. Mocktails are just as cool as alcohol. Why do we feel like when we have to celebrate or when we're depressed to drink, there's other things to cope, healthy things, that you can cope with. I wish I would have known my family cancer history earlier. There's a lot of things that I wish But I don't feel like I've sort of reached the pinnacle because there's still people who don't have the education. There's still people who are dying. My girlfriend was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer at the age of 26 years old and passed when she was 30. I haven't done anything if that's still happening.
Ooh. I don't know why that just sat on me.
Jeez. Yeah.
So sad.
Oh, goodness.
That shut me up real quick.
You also made me think about now what's going on with our younger generation, the Gen Z, and this vaping stuff. And I had the conversation with some I won't name any family members' names, but some people in my family, and we were just talking about like how back in the day when cigarettes were popular and how you only saw I was explaining how like the ads and the marketing and how they kind of marketed towards kids and preteens and all that. And then I was just like, well, yeah, I guess it wouldn't be cool to see like an older person smoking a cigarette for like a teen to look at that. So they're doing the same thing. Like, when my dad was younger and like he saw cigarette commercials, which they don't even have that now. Right. But, when he saw that and he saw that when he was younger, now they see the vaping and they don't have the commercials, but they see the friends doing it and all that, and they think it's cool, and it's so harmful to their bodies. And it's just like you're starting to see these cases pop up where it's like somebody it's talking about like the vaping and how addictive it is, and then how like it starts off with you vaping just a little bit, and then you need more and more to achieve the same, I guess, high effects or whatever it is. Like, how do we reach this generation, especially when it's just so popular to do?
Right. We teach them habits now, because I think when children vape, they think it's cool. They may be stressed, but okay, let me show you. When I'm in a good mood, this is what I'm doing. I'm not doing something that's destructive to my body. I'm dancing, I'm moving, I'm doing whatever, something that's healthy. Okay. When I'm stressed, I'm not going to the bottle. I'm not, vaping, I'm praying, I'm meditating, I'm walking in nature, I'm doing those things. And I think once that's seen and mimicked, then children, they're followers. They want to do things that look cool and popular. So when they see that, then they do that, and then that trajectory then changes. I also think a lot of things are purposeful that come to target our community. In the inner city, how many fried chicken places are there? How many tobacco places? And, especially now, like a lot of vaping shops and all of that, that's purposeful. But let's put some ecotherapy in our community. Let's put some more churches and mosques in our community. Let's, do all of the things so that they understand that these are the things that you don't want to go to. You want to go to here. You got to change that narrative.
Wow. You mentioned, you talked a little bit about cancer and some of the elements and viruses that's out there. What's your take on, and I'm sure Lauren can probably find the exact name, but it was like the National or the International Health Foundation or something like that has, since the U.S. has disconnected from that, we have different countries finding cures to stuff. What's your take on that? Do you feel like, there's this kind of gatekeeper idea to stop, cures because we want to look at big pharma or something like that? What's your thoughts? Yeah.
You trying to give me cancer? No, I'm playing.
That's what
I'm honest with West Philly. I don't care. Of course. I mean, I definitely think, I don't know for sure if there's ever a cure for something. I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but I do think it's a very lucrative business to keep people sick, for sure. So that's why we're not teaching, have more vegetables, don't eat a lot of pork, don't do all of this. I think that's definitely purposeful, for sure. I can't say that there's a cure for anything, although that's always the goal. Hospitals, big pharma, they make great money. And so, as long as you're sick, we're always going to keep getting paid.
And you're so right, because if people understand, umpteen years ago, like let's just say the early 1940s, it was pushed to eat healthy. It was pushed to not have every FD&C, yellow number 40, this and that in our foods, right?
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where the meat market was going down and they pushed breakfast. And they don't realize that breakfast was only pushed because of the money. They wanted us to spend more money. Exactly. So with free radicals, all of these different things that are going on, Big Pharma makes more money. So with that being said, in regards to having different type of autoimmunes, like, and I don't know if you want to disclose that, but what's your outlook now, seeing it from the patient side, being on the doctor, on the medical side, as well as on the patient side for you?
I mean, I was diagnosed with lupus maybe 2022, but I probably had it since I was 17 years old.
Oh, wow.
You know, and my take on it is that we are eradicated with so much stress, with so much disease, with so much illness in ourselves. And it is, from the patient perspective, I was very frustrated because I'm like, you guys knew I had this. You know, all you had to do was run an ANA. All you had to do was check my C3, C4. That's all you had to do. And we could have did some investigating instead of just giving me a blanket, you have angioedema, meaning that my joints just flared up. So that's where my perspective is even more so the advocacy component. Like, I know my body. Wow. I'm telling you there's something wrong. We need to do some research. And if you don't know, let me ask ChatGPT or something so I can figure it out. And then we can have that conversation. And it gave me even that voice. Like, you know, doctors, they practice medicine. So they don't know it all. They're practicing. So let me help you in this pursuit of trying to figure out what's going on with my body. And let's even say this, we don't even enroll in clinical trials and all of that. So there's a lot that they don't know about Black bodies.
Wow.
So they are actually practicing, and I don't mean practicing like guinea pigs, but they don't know.
They already did that.
Yes, they did a long time ago. But some of our DNA, they just don't understand because we don't enroll, we don't give our DNA, our tissue to be researched. So the things that happen in our bodies, they're very perplexed. They don't know either.
Right. Do you think it's a U.S. thing? Because so many places, I actually went across country. I went to Turkey for medical care. Medical tourism is highly approached in other countries versus the U.S. And they are giving a different type of, here you are, here's what you have, and it's 75% from the percentage of what the U.S. is charging. Right. So why is that? Why is it that the U.S., you know, the place where everybody wants to come, so to speak, you know, you got people like, I don't want to go over there now, but you know what I'm saying? Like, why is it that the U.S. versus other countries are putting poison in our foods? Other places, other countries are not allowed to have certain things and ingredients in their food. Why is it happening here?
Greed. You don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but spirits and principalities. That's all I can say.
You know, when you talk about the gene thing and our genes, you know, the one thing, and I believe you did the story of Henrietta Lacks. I think of, you know, the superpower that she had, right? When we think of like research, right? Should people who look like us have a legitimate fear because we have always been experimented on, right? Wow. And I use that as context, right? When you have people pushing for, like, you know, when COVID, the vaccines, and everyone's like, yo, I don't want to get vaccinated because literally I don't know what you're putting in this. Do you believe that we have legitimate concerns and we should, you know, worry about what's being put in our bodies? So
Sure. I understand why we are fearful, because there's always going to be a medical apartheid. Yeah. That makes sense to me. But I do think that we should do it scared. Because I think if we don't enroll in clinical trials, then we're always going to be dying. They don't know what's working on our bodies. Like, for example, you ever been in a public bathroom and you wave your hand to get the water to come out the faucet? That wasn't tested on darker skin.
That's why it don't work for me.
Oh, wow.
So sometimes you're trying to figure it out. So something that simplistic.
I didn't know that you have to keep waving.
It wasn't tested on our skin. That's so crazy. I say that to say things in life aren't tested for us, aren't known for us. So we're always going to be left behind. And let me say this, they're always going to create medicine. They'll just do it without
Wow.
us if we don't enroll in clinical trials.
Wow.
So I'll always raise my hand to be in clinical trial because they might not find it in my generation, but I'm going to be darn sure my nieces don't have to face what I face. You think about the HIV and AIDS epidemic. You know, my Uncle Kyle passed in 1985 of it, but then they got so much DNA, whether you're Asian, whether you're Puerto Rican, African American, whatever. So now if you get diagnosed with it, although you may not want the disease, you can live and thrive. That's not the case with cancer. So that's not the case with diabetes, you know, all those things. So we have to do it scared. I'm not saying don't be scared, but you have to do it scared.
Yeah.
And
That's crazy.
as a person who's in radiation oncology and just someone who may be watching this, can you let women and men know specifically as to what they can ask for when they're talking to their doctor? Let's just say they've been diagnosed. And you can highlight this more, BRCA1 to see if it's in your family, your PSA, your Gleason score. Tell us more of something more towards the breast and prostate, since it's up in the top 5 as far as with cancer.
Absolutely. So first I'll take it. Do you know your family cancer history? Do that. Then go to your provider, establish a patient-provider relationship and say, hey, I know my father has prostate cancer. I know all my uncles have prostate cancer. And I know by that increases my risk of breast cancer. So I took that to my doctor and he said, okay, you need to go see a breast surgeon. The breast surgeon said, okay, tell me your family cancer history. Again, I said it. She put my information to what's called a risk assessment or risk calculator. And that determined I have a 20% risk or greater of breast cancer. So from there, I at the age of 28, I get 2 screenings. I'm now 33. I get a 3D mammogram and a breast MRI. From there, I did genetic testing, and we know about BRCA1 and BRCA2 for breast cancer, but I have a gene BCL6, which increases my risk for lymphoma. And those are the things that we don't hear about. So now I get regular blood tests and all of those things. So you want to first go back to your family. Do you know your family cancer history? If you do not, that's fine. If you're adopted or your family is just so secretive they won't tell you, still tell your doctor, because they'll treat you as if you're high risk because you do not know. And then it's important to know your breasts, men too. So usually women do it at the top of the month. April 1st, you know, at the top of the month, and you want to feel your breast in the shower. You want to look at it in the mirror. You want to do it while you're laying down, and you want to do it soft. You want to press hard. You want to go up and down. You want to go all around, and to feel something. You want to do that every month, because if you then feel that something has changed, you can then have that conversation with your doctor. And to the women who are on their menstrual cycle, know what your breasts feel like before your menstrual cycle, during, and after, because there are some changes that happen.
And the look.
Yes. And you want to make sure there's Know Your Lemons has a it's an organization where there's like 12 signs of breast cancer, whether your nipple is inverted, whether there's a discharge coming out your nipple, whether your areola looks like an orange peel, whether there's a growing vein, whether there's a lump. I've even had a friend of mine where she didn't have pain in her breast. She had it in her arm because the tumor was on her lymph node in her arm. So anything that's outside of your normal, know that. For men, for prostate cancer, if you are experiencing like your stream isn't correct, you know, you got to pee, stop, you know, things like that. For colon, your stool is different, whether it's really watery, it's red. For pancreatic, you know, your stomach is hurting, you've lost a lot of unintentional weight. And I just blatantly say anything out of your normal, ask the doctor, say, hey, something's going on. Can you run a blood test? Breast, I need a breast MRI or 3D mammogram. And if they tell the women or men you have dense breasts, that just means you need another screening, because they can't determine if you have cancer or not.
Black women have
the image looks very white. So whenever they tell that to me, it's like, okay, I need either an ultrasound or breast MRI. So you can definitively tell me whether I have something or not. So you just have to I think it's easier to have an advocate with you so they can know all the things to ask. But the point is, whenever you know something out of your normal and that has changed, have that conversation with your doctor and establish that patient-provider relationship. Because I have a young Black doctor, and she probably knows my body better than I do. So if I tell her there's something wrong, she's not going to hesitate, and she's going to send me to the appropriate screening or test to make sure that everything's okay with my body.
I just hope somebody heard
one
this.
second. Yeah, 1 second, because she kind of blew my mind right now. I need a break for a minute. That wore me out. Jeez. 1 second.
You got the stretching guy on here.
Jeez.
Oh my goodness.
You-
That was a lot. That
Sorry.
was a good
that
thing.
was amazing.
That was phenomenal.
Yeah, because I'm
that
sure
was so
it
beautiful.
was because and I'm sure that's going to help a lot of people who's actually watching. And
Yes.
you talked a couple things. You talked about an advocate, right? And so for those who watching, how do a young lady get an advocate? Because I also heard that there's still this idea, especially when it comes to we generally have a fear of doctors, right? Anybody within the health field, right? Because one, we feel like a statistic, right? Or we feel like you don't take it seriously, right? And so there is this, elephant in the room, this cloud over specifically women who feel like when we're in pain or when they're in pain, doctors don't take them seriously, right? And so how could someone have an advocate or advocate if they don't have an advocate? Advocate to truly be taken seriously if they go in.
You just said, if you feel like you're not being heard, you need to listen to me. Sit down. I know you got 15 minutes, but sit down. I have 12 questions to ask you. And I need you, I'm still not feeling better. So I need you to figure out, I need you to research, be a detective and figure out what's going on with me. And I know a lot of our people say, well, I felt okay, but then I went to the doctor and then I came out with this disease. That doesn't mean that the hospital gave you disease. It means that it was masked in your body, right? And then they found the test to figure out what was wrong with you. And then now you have it. So I want to, and I say this to the Black men too, because, you got to take care of the family. You got to do all of this. Y'all better pour into yourselves too.
Yeah,
because,
that's right.
That's why with prostate cancer being on the rise and all these things, if y'all don't pour into yourself, you aren't going to be here.
That's right.
So it's really important
A lot
to
of
just
them
pour
having
into
heart
yourself.
attacks too.
You kidding me?
Young men.
Better pay attention to your body and stop playing.
Yeah. So in relationships, if we feel that stress, then what we do? Okay, I mean, you said pay attention to our bodies.
Listen, I'm from West Philly. Try me.
Doctor, I have a question for you. And this is going to be one of the good news, bad news stories. It's about, and you were appointed by Governor Josh Shapiro. So I want that to be known. Philadelphia, a federal judge just stopped for the vaccinations. I think it was 17 that they were trying to push, but it's now, I think, going to be 11. Tell us more about what your insight or input is on vaccinations. A lot of, and this isn't statistics being proven, but a lot of parents feel like the vaccinations are causing the high percentage of autism in children. So what's your thoughts on that?
I think vaccinations are a good thing. I think they created vaccinations because back in the day there was bubonic plague and all this other stuff. So vaccinations are here to help help humanity. I think even with cervical cancer and the
HPV.
Absolutely. So I think that's important. That reduces the risk of getting cervical cancer. And I understand as a parent there, you may be fearful of giving your child something, but I think I'm not get somebody vaccinated. I mean, what are
so at that young age, do you think that it should be a time frame that they wait? Because I mean, I'm a person who believes in epigenetics.
Yeah.
Epigenetics meaning that we are not the same people that we were 50 years ago.
Correct.
And because of that, they're saying, oh, well, stabilized vaccines have worked all this time. Well, these are not the same people.
Correct.
These, young men are not having their Adam's apple like they did back in. They don't. They don't have the chiseled jaw. It's things that have changed over time. And it's like, do we need to look at the vaccinations? Does a newborn baby need 4 or 5 shots at the same time? Right after birth.
Good point.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I do. I think that should be a piloted study. I don't know. I agree with you. I think, like you said, things change, people change, and I think that should be a piloted study. Let's give that baby the 4 shots and see how the baby goes on in life and progresses. But let's not give that baby 4 shots and see how that baby progresses.
Or wait till that baby turns 5,
exactly.
and then we'll go ahead.
And I think that needs to be piloted. And I think it's a fair pilot too. I don't think I'm not saying, give everybody 13 shots every 5 days, but I think it's fair to your point that
I'm an advocate for vaccination.
No, but I think to your point, it's very fair. There should be an age, but I think it also should be that conversation between the patient, the provider, and their parent. Absolutely.
And speaking of the HPV, I remember that I have 4 children, 3 girls, and for all 4, I was going to get HPV, and they were like 9 or 10.
Yep.
But then I waited, and when they got 15, there was more strains that it covered.
Yep.
Then when they got 18, it was like 30 more strains. So I was like, well, if I would have got it back then, then it probably wouldn't even have worked. And I'm putting this in them. So I didn't do it and let them be the ones for themselves to see if they wanted to get it.
Yeah. They had more time to do research. Like I was the guinea pig because I'm 33. So I was thinking 9 when I got it, 8 or 9. And my mom was like, my child not doing. My father was like, she's getting it. And somehow he wanted to argue. Maybe that's why they got a divorce, but I don't know. But to your point, I had to get other shots because I needed to get more things to cover the other strands that are out there. Yeah.
So, geez, this is a lot. So
in a good way.
In a good way. Yeah. So Brother Rashid was like great information, and I want to get this young lady an opportunity because you spoke about your doctor, and I believe this is what that is. For those who's looking for a great doctor, this young lady said, this is Coastal Tiff said, can she share her doctor's name if you're comfortable with that? And if not, how can people find good doctors? Because that has always been a problem. Also, thankfully, I found a good one just kind of like by luck, right? Young doctor looks like me, and understands me. But how can someone find a great doctor? Yeah.
Absolutely. So Dr. Kimberly Rogers, I think she's on Instagram as Restore MD Med. Just don't take my appointment, but Dr. Kimberly Rogers, she's amazing. And you can go on Black Doctor, I think it's .org. You can just even Google whatever type of physician that you want, Google that, and that will come up. But you can also, I'm not saying do this all the time, but you can fire your doctor. You can have you have an appointment and you're like, this doctor just, we're not really meshing well. Yeah. Let me find another one. But my doctor, who I absolutely love, Dr. Kimberly Rogers, she's amazing. She takes time. We have each appointment is 45 minutes to an hour if I need it.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
What kind of doctor is she?
Primary care.
And she's a PCP.
Yep.
Wow. What's your thoughts on herbal medicine?
I think it's important. I think, and this is my thing, I think Western medicine and herbal medicine and integrative therapy can be a marriage.
That's what I say.
Just marry it.
Yes.
If you first have a headache, do I think you should take the Tylenol first? No, maybe drink some more water. Maybe do all the things. Maybe drink some ginger ale.
Yeah. They don't make ginger ale like they used
they
to.
Don't But then if you need it, take the Tylenol. I think it should be an absolute marriage.
And I'm going to throw something in there because I love holistic medicine, but I am about Western medicine. You can do the tuning forks. Tuning forks back in the 40s was before the pills for migraine headaches. So you take the mallet, you hit it, and then you put it on your pituitary gland. You could put it on your collarbone, and it's supposed to help with migraine headaches.
That's good.
So
that's good.
Yeah.
Or what I do, I just go to sleep. I get a migraine, I just go to sleep.
Some
Put the
people
cover
can't
over
go.
my head
It's hard to
and-
go to sleep with it. I can't go to
I
sleep
get
with a
migraines.
migraine.
There's no way.
I can't.
Look, I turn off all the lights, put the pillow over my. I'm a pro at catching headaches. Right. I got it. Put the,
Sounds like you need to see a neurologist.
Yeah. How about that part? Maybe.
Yeah.
So listen. That was amazing.
It was.
So is there let me see. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you're doing? Because you went past everything that we could even ask for. Like amazing interview. What is it anything that you're working on, or is it anything that we didn't touch that you believe that our people should know?
I'll say this, Delaware right next door. Delaware has the highest incidence of Black women being diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer, and they have narrowed it down to certain zip codes. So if you live in certain zip codes, you have a higher chance of getting triple negative breast cancer as a woman. Jeez. So they're trying to look at healthy women or women who have not yet had the diagnosis of breast cancer, and they want to study them to figure out why. And they also think it's because of epigenetics. You're living in an environment that's toxic. You are stressed. You're not getting enough sleep. You're not eating right. You're not doing all the things. And that equation equals triple negative breast cancer. And I say that to say, as we are right next to Delaware, I'm sure there's zip codes in Philadelphia that is the same.
That would They need
thing.
to do that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because even when you're stressing, like you said, if your cortisol levels go up, you have a higher rate of getting something,
Yeah.
high blood pressure, cholesterol,
Yeah.
diabetes. So
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah. And
Wow.
then also I'll say April 18th, we have I'm the president of Bird Cancer Foundation, and we have our expo, All Things Cancer and Wellness Expo. Is free to the community. We have free breast exams. It's not a mammogram. It's something called Bexa Equity Alliance. They have a high-powered ultrasound tool where breast density is not a factor, and it just rubs over your breast and you get the result right then and there. So it's diagnostic. We have Jefferson coming out to doing prostate checks, not the digital rectal exam, but blood. We have Penn doing the cervical HPV checks. We have Advanced Dermatology doing full body skin checks, because Black people always say they can't get skin cancer. That's a fallacy. We have mocktails. We have health wellness vendors. What else do we have? We have oncology dental screenings, because that's very important. You know, when you go to the dentist, they're supposed to feel on
Your
your lymph nodes and have your tongue go back and forth. So all this is free. We also have workshops and panels. We have talk about cardio oncology. We have something talking about hair, skin, and nails. Like my braids is by Doso Beauty, and the hair is organic and toxic free. So what you put on your body and in your body is very important. We have a panel about cancer survivors and thrivers and caregivers and co-survivors, which a lot of people don't talk about.
And where is this? When is this? What time is
we gonna be there?
I got my hands. I'm like,
it's April 18th, Saturday at the Doubletree Hilton, Center City, Philadelphia, across from the Kimmel Center on Broad Street, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Free. All the services are free. The entry is free. And the idea is that you come in with an interest about some type of cancer, but you leave with so much knowledge about what you may have or may not have. And yeah.
Jeez,
that's awesome.
Hold on. I just had to do this. Right. This is a public service announcement, right? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching right now, I just want you to do one favor. Like this and share it, because I know someone wants to know this information, because half the stuff I never even heard of before, right? And I know that you could be doing something that's special for someone special in your life that probably don't know, or just someone that just needs to know and just don't have access to the information, right? So if you're watching this and you can hear the sound of my voice, like and share this video for someone to actually know. I am asking you to do this to protect our community, because we love our people, and we're talking about people who look like us. So make sure you share this video. This is probably one of my favorite interviews. I didn't really have to say anything. Yeah, you said it all, right? So why don't you let them know how they can get in contact with you and all that good old information?
Sure. Reach out to me. I'm not going 267-886-5471 is my mobile.
Wow.
You can reach out to me, Bird Cancer Foundation, BYRD. That's my family's name. Text me if you have any questions, want me to advocate for you. I'm very quick to email somebody and call Channel 6.
Oh, wow.
Yes, she is.
And I just want to end with make sure you pour into yourself. Like all of you, you're so very busy. Please make sure you get some rest. Please make sure you get some time. Well, see,
What's that?
if you get some time to yourself, even in between breaks, 5 minutes of just quiet or whatever pours into you, because we need our people, and we are dying between the violence, between the health, between all the things, the prison pipeline, all the things. And we need to make sure that we pour into ourselves and create this community where we're checking on each other. So, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Awesome.
Phenomenal.
Let this be said. Ladies and gentlemen, one, I want to thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you.
You know, one things we say is once you come to the show, you're a friend to the show, so you're always welcome to come back. I think you gave some excellent information, some amazing information that people just need to know and hear about. And so I think we'll definitely be inviting you back just to talk about, you know, some of the latest even trends in medicine, or some other details, or some pressing news, or some flash. This is what you need to know, something, right? We definitely will bring
and
you
her
back
books.
your book. Let's talk a little bit about that, because that's what we didn't do. right? Before we let you leave, because you got some, she said the children books, right? Yeah, holla at us. Tell us a little bit about that before we let you go.
I made it because of my grandma Smiley. She smiled all the time. Even when she was going through cancer treatment, she said if God trusted her with multiple myeloma, she was going to carry it with dignity, excellence, and grace. And so my children's book sort of mimicked her life. She told my brother and I, never look down on anyone unless you're extending a hand down to help them up. So that helped with feeding those who are unhoused. That helped with so many things that we do. So the children's book is about Smiley, and the other one is a letters to myself, to my younger self. And it's a little dark-skinned Black girl looking in the mirror. It's someone who has an amputated leg but playing basketball. It's talking about kindness. It's talking about acceptance. It's talking about all the things that I think is lost in this world, but secretly, and not so secretly, it brings people back to agape love and my love for Jesus Christ. Wow. So I always have to make sure that, and I remember that I'm a servant of him, and anything that I do, I represent him. Sometimes it's probably the West Philly version. So that's what the books are about. That's anything that I do. My nonprofits, the Nia Imani Bailey, I don't even do that whole doctor thing, because it's like when I enter the gates, he's not going to say, well done, doctor. You know what I mean?
But
like it's not
pointed you to a doctor.
But it's not, my great grandmom had a 5th grade education, but she was the smartest person ever. So
she was a doctor too.
Right. You know what I mean?
That's it.
But everything that I do is the basis of agape love, and it's the basis on Jesus Christ.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Well, all right. Well, one more time, how can I get in contact with you real quick?
BYRD Bird Cancer Foundation, 267-886-5471. I'm a best texter, then call me, but whatever, you can call me too. And yeah.
There you go. So if you need an advocate, make sure you slide in her inbox, text her out, let her know that you need her to advocate for you. All right, y'all, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we got the sizzle, we got good news and bad news. We still got a jam-packed show. We'll be right back after this show.
Mama Near Club.
Say that again.
Mama Near Club.
Mama Near. That's a hard word. Mama Near. Can y'all say that?
The Mama Near Club. I started the Mama Near Club when I was pregnant with my son. I was learning so much, and I didn't realize how many options that we had. Like growing up in the hood, options not really presented to you. You just feel like you got to follow suit with whatever people say you got to do. And as I started to do my research, I'm like, okay, a lot of people could benefit from this information that I'm researching. So I would just share all of the information that I was learning so other people can realize that they got options. It don't matter where you're from. It don't matter what your income level is. You got options.
So describe what the Mama Near Club is.
So the Mama Near Club is a club for moms that's on a mission to make their dreams a reality. A lot of times when you have kids, you feel like your world is over. And no, that's when your world just began. Because like the true blessing to your children is a mom that's fulfilled, So I don't believe in stopping your dream for anything. You got to figure out how to balance both. And I don't like to say balance, because when you think of balance, you're thinking like this, right? And you just never really steady. I like to harmonize, like see how it can all flow together. And I just think that as a mom, you don't have to stop your life. Men don't stop their life when they have kids. That's when they go harder. And I feel like we can do the same thing too. So that was that. It was just to encourage moms. You got this. Listen, you got this. You done birthed a whole human and you figured it out. That's the hardest job in the world. Nobody can tell me that. You have to figure that out. I'm sure you can figure this business out,
There we go. There you go. We Talk Weeklies after the talk on WPPMLP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We Talk Weeklies after the talk with your boy Charles Gregory and the beautiful
Classy Lady Sparkle
and the beautiful
Lauren Sizzle
and the beautiful. Oh, I don't hear you, Miss Henry. Let's do it one more again.
Tanisha Henry.
There she go. Man, what a dynamic show. What a dynamic interview. I'm super excited about that. He said, love the West Philly thing. You already know West Philly in the building. Monica's in West Philly. And then you got Rashid. Shout out to Rashid, said a dynamic show. And Coastal Tiff, hopefully you have the information that you needed to make sure that you can reach out to that doctor that she mentioned. But you can always rewatch the show. It'll be on our website. If you're not watching from our website, you're probably watching us from our Facebook or YouTube. But you can always go to wetalkweekly.com and see our show as it streams live to see it live and direct. And so without further ado, Classy Lady, you ready for me?
I'm ready.
All right, why don't you give it to me earlier?
All right. Well, some parents may want to hear this. I just spoke to the doctor about this, and I'll just go over it again. It's basically a federal judge just blocked Philadelphia changes to the childhood vaccine. So again, instead of the 17 required shots, it's now 11. So the court ruled that that the federal health officials did not follow the proper process. This all stems from leadership changes under the Health and Human Services. There were some recommendations like delaying the hepatitis B shot for newborns and scaling back the COVID vaccines. This is what sparked a lot of backlash. So one CHOP vaccinating expert said, the science is and has been stable, that vaccines have been protecting children for decades. But another leading physician didn't hold back, calling the changes a war on vaccines. Governor Josh Shapiro stepped in and he said, we trust doctors to help us make healthcare decisions, not conspiracy theorists. So if you need guidance or low-cost vaccines, you can always contact the CDC Vaccine for Children's program at 1-800-CDC-INFO. That's 1-800-232-4636. All right. This next story might save you some money, or it's going to cost you if you're not paying attention. So right now, if you miss a toll, which, the Walk, the Betsy, the Ben, the Tacony. So if you miss the toll, it can turn a small fee of whatever it is. I think it's like $6 can turn into $50 real fast. Yes. So basically, all I can say after reading the story is get an easy pass. So some lawmakers are saying that getting a $50 cost for the ticket, it might be a bit too much. So here's what they're going to do. The new bill in New Jersey and New York, they're going to let you slide, but only if you have 1 or 2 violations from going through the toll booth. So there's not going to be extra penalties, but only if you have 1 or 2. But this is the other side. On the PA side, they're basically saying, like the New Jersey Turnpike, that if you have $250 or more, New Jersey Turnpike and Pennsylvania Turnpike, state troopers are going to be running your license plate. And if it's over 250, they're going to suspend your registration and get your car towed and impounded on the spot.
On the spot.
They are basically saying that people who are getting these invoices in the mail, they're doing now like a cashless type of system. People aren't paying their invoices, and it's so many reasons why. I think, like, you can say that you didn't get it, it could have blew away, not a good mail slot, whatever. You could just didn't look at it. You say the dog ate my homework. Something happened to it. But this is basically saying if you don't pay, you gonna pay in another way.
So they skipping the boot process and everything, or what?
Boots is still happening, but that's not operated by the toll. That's right. Okay. Yeah, that's the PPA with the ticketing. So now they're gonna hit you on both spots. So if you are Philadelphia and you are coming over to New Jersey, or you taking a PA Turnpike, I'm telling you, just basically look out for the mail or get an easy pass. The easy pass, I think, would be the best. And you pay less with an easy pass. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to make sure, I think, it's just a digital footprint that they can follow people. That's it. Because if you don't have it, you're going to pay, I think it's like double the amount to go over the bridges versus, what you would do if you had an easy pass. And some of them are different prices. So that's why I didn't mention that. All right. This next story, some Philadelphians might be excited about this. The Philadelphia Eagles just made a power move by signing wide receiver Marquise Brown, aka Hollywood. They signed a 1-year deal worth up to $6.5 million. So Brown comes off of 2 seasons with the Kansas City Chiefs. He put up nearly 700 yards and 5 touchdowns, and even making a Super Bowl run. So I actually watched the Eagles Super Bowl, and some people are saying, is this because of the frustration we saw with AJ Brown and the coach? Do y'all think so? With Nick Sirianni at Super Bowl 59? Do you think that's why they just signed Marquise? Well, the Eagles leadership is signaling something, especially with questions going around AJ Brown. Well, going back to Marquise, basically he's a 28-year-old, and he said, "I am blessed and happy to be here." So he's happy to be there. I don't know. AJ better get it right, because that was heated when I saw them on the sidelines at the Super Bowl. Yeah.
I think that people were thinking that AJ was gone, especially after his performance at their the Eagles' final game.
Yeah.
Which it was disappointing. So I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, and I don't know what to say about that, because I saw that and I was just like, this should be interesting, because as far as his stats, what? Like
which one?
The new guy.
He did 700 yards, I think. Yeah. He was near 700 yards and 5 touchdowns when he was with the Kansas City Chiefs. So, I mean, he's 28. He's in his prime. I mean, we'll see. We'll see, you know. Philly hard on you. I mean, if you ain't if you underperforming,
that's what I'm like. If
you underperforming, they're gonna let you know. So welcome, but just know, don't get too comfortable. Yeah. All right. Well, this next story, people, watch who you hire to care for your loved ones. A nurse in Bucks County is now facing child abuse charges after police say she was caught on video abusing a medically fragile child that she was supposed to be caring for. So investigators say surveillance showed her smacking the child, slamming her, and pulling on the girl's tracheotomy, and even aggressively throwing the child around inside the crib. The child's mother noticed bruising, and then she checked the cameras. According to the affidavit, the nurse was working as a night nurse, providing in-home care for a disabled child. The abuse was discovered because the child's bedroom had constant surveillance cameras, which the mother reviewed after noticing bruising. The nurse is now being held in Bucks County Correctional Facility after failing to post bond. It's a high bail around $2 million, and the officials are continuing the investigation. If you suspect abuse, especially with vulnerable children, disabled children, report it immediately to the Pennsylvania Child Line at 1-800-932-0313. Again, 1-800-932-0313, or you could go online at www.compass.pa.us/CWIS. All right. And this last story, now many people, especially Philadelphians, have heard of this story. It's this guy who was a coward who lives in Darby, and he got into a crossing guard's face. I know y'all heard of this, right? A Darby crossing guard named Tamika Dixon was outside Walnut Street Elementary helping kids cross the street when police say 29-year-old driver Edward Williams from West Philly got impatient. Witness says that he was honking his car, revving up his engine. Then he got out, chased the crossing guard, started yelling in her face, and then he punched her unconscious. So report states that she suffered a concussion and she has since quit. Williams fled the scene, and there was a $5,000 reward put up for him. And he was caught by U.S. Marshals and arrested in North Carolina at a family's home. He is now arrested and facing multiple serious charges tied to the attack.
And they didn't know each other?
Nope. He was just,
oh my God.
I don't know if that was a bad day. I don't know if y'all ever seen having a bad day, but if he was having a bad day, then
all that, and that woman was doing her job.
He the video shows him chasing her like she was like scurrying away from him. So it was like, I don't know, that
she was doing her job protecting children.
Yeah,
and that's crazy.
That's wow. So that was your good news and your bad news from your girl, Classy Lady Sparkle.
That good news and bad news for Classy Lady Sparkle. I'm your boy Charles Gregory with the beautiful
Classy Lady
and
Sparkle.
the beautiful
Lawrence.
and the beautiful
Tanisha Henry.
and Sizzle. Are you ready for me?
Yes,
All right.
but before I go right into it,
For sure. Holla at me.
make sure you guys support We Talk Weekly News, our independent journalism with by you subscribing on all major podcast platforms and follow us on social media so you can stay informed and connected. And that's all it takes is a like, a follow, a share,
That's it.
a comment. All of that helps.
That's
And
it.
if you want to help us expand our community-centered, solutions-based reporting, you can make a donation via Cash App to $ We Talk Weekly or securely through PayPal at wetalkweekly.com. And every contribution, no matter how small, makes an impact.
That's right. That's right.
All right, so I kind of feel like we talked about this before, but this is always like an ongoing conversation. This Rocky statue, so they moved it to the top of the steps of the art museum. So that just made me think. I posted something on my Facebook page a couple weeks ago. Who is on your Mount Rushmore of Philly athlete goats? And don't say Rocky Balboa.
Joe Frazier.
Oh, yeah.
From the door. Joe Frazier.
With,
see-
Sweet Pea.
Sweet Pea, yeah, Sweet Pea. I guess you talking about boxers?
Athletes. Dawn Staley.
Dawn Staley is definitely on my Mount Rushmore.
Dr. J.
Julius Erving.
Yeah. They don't have to have lived here.
Yeah,
They
okay.
could have
And
played
it's,
here.
and it's athletes, you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Allen Iverson.
AI.
Yeah.
That's all of them. That's all of them.
Because you get
Right.
4 or 5.
AI. It's 5. It's 4.
Okay.
It's 4. Mount Rushmore is 4, right?
I believe so.
I can't remember. I think it's 4.
Oh, God.
It's
Don't
so
get me
many
to
greats.
remember.
It's a lot of good ones, though.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because I think, it really is a top 10 because you can't limit it to just 4.
Yeah.
You can't.
AI, definitely AI, Dawn Staley, Joe Frazier. Yeah. Dang. Because it's a couple more.
You
got
gotta
track
say
and field.
you gotta say Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah,
For
Wilt
sure.
Chamberlain.
You definitely
Yeah.
gotta say that.
Damn. Yeah, that's jeez. Yeah.
It's just so many.
Damn.
So many. And then you're talking about errors.
Mhm,
You know what I mean? Like you got some honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Like, I know they kind of say like, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, I mean he doesn't necessarily claim Philly though.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's inside of Philly. We wouldn't
Yeah.
really give it to him, but outside of Philly, they always do. And somebody else they do that with too is he lived outside of Philly. He was like he was either in Cheltenham Township or something like that. Who was that? Might be a baseball player.
I'm not sure. Damn, that's crazy. Athletes.
Reggie White.
Okay.
Mhm,
Yeah. I don't think he'll be on my
Mike
Mount
Schmidt.
Rushmore though, but
No, I'm saying top 10 now.
oh, top 10. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah,
Mike
Reggie.
Schmidt, yes.
Mhm,
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dang, that's crazy.
Moses Malone. Was he Philly?
Was he Philly? I don't know. Was Moses Philly? I can't remember. Nah, Moses Malone wasn't
I
Philly.
can't remember where
He just played in Philly.
Charles Barkley.
Yeah, they
Barkley.
said
He
Barkley.
played on the
Yeah.
yeah.
Barkley. Yeah, top
You
10.
didn't like Barkley?
No, we talking about
yeah,
top 10.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
I was thinking honorable mentions. I don't know if
Yeah,
even on the
yeah.
10.
Yeah, now you got me thinking of
That wasn't it wasn't Reggie Jackson. was it?
definitely Frazier, definitely Joe Frazier. Bernard Hopkins.
It was Reggie Jackson.
Gotta put
right?
Reggie Jackson, Bernard Hopkins, the executioner.
No, was it Reggie Jackson?
Who else?
I'm trying to think who it was that they live. Yeah, Reggie Jackson because he's in Abington.
Yeah, it's Reggie Jackson.
He's in
yeah.
Abington.
But,
yeah.
damn.
Yeah, he said.
But they give him Philly. Yeah,
That's kind of Philly.
outskirts. Yeah.
Dang. What? Yeah. Shout out to Bernard Hopkins too.
Oh yeah, for
Nardi.
sure.
Um,
For sure.
Randall Cunningham.
Randall Cunningham.
Yeah.
That's when he played for the Eagles.
Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah,
he'll be in my top 10.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Shout out to Sheed. Shout out to Rasheed, friend to the show too.
Right.
He'll definitely be in my top 10.
Yeah.
If you in Philly, you are already in my top 10. I mean, I'm gonna let y'all finish, but Philadelphia is the greatest of all time. I'm just saying. You know, I'm gonna let y'all finish, man. I'm trying to think of if y'all watching, make sure y'all list y'all who will be on y'all Mount Rushmore in Philadelphia. Y'all Mount Rushmore. And if it's people that we because it's somebody on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I feel like it is somebody that's being left out.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's what's up. Yeah, no doubt.
All right. Well, the Los Angeles and why do I have it written like that? Sorry. Los Angeles County Superior Court jury. I have it written. Sorry. They found Meta and YouTube negligent in how they operate their social media platforms, which has been causing substantial harm to a lot of people, but in this case, particularly the plaintiff, who is identified in the court by initials KGM. And they're saying that Meta and YouTube failed to adequately warn users of the dangers of its platforms, such as Instagram and Google and YouTube. And Google is the owner of YouTube. So now plaintiff KGM, who is now 20 years old, she was awarded $3 million in compensatory damages. But when she was a minor, she described how when all this happened, and she talked about her addiction to social media at, I believe, the age 6, and how she spent hours upon hours on the platform, and how this caused significant emotional and physical abuse to herself. And a New Mexico jury also found that Meta and YouTube violated the state's consumer protection laws, and they were ordered to pay $375 million in civil penalties. So Mark Zuckerberg, he was among a lot of the tech executives who testified. Multiple cases were brought against Meta, YouTube, and other companies, which I believe Snapchat was also in this. This included over 1,600 plaintiffs, 350 families, and over 250 school districts. So the counsel for the plaintiff, KGM, said the counsel and the co-counsel in a statement, they said that this is a historic moment for thousands of children and their families. But the verdict itself is bigger than just this one case. And they're saying for years, social media companies have profited from targeting children who while concealing their addictive and dangerous design features. Today's verdict is a referendum from a jury to an entire industry that accountability has arrived. And, you know, Meta and Google, they disagree with the verdict, of course, and they plan to appeal. But, you know, this made me think about the guidelines that they set for us creators. You know, we had to disclose when we're going to post something, and you think about all the prompts that it's giving you. Is this going to be harmful to children? Is this going to do this? Does it depict this? Does it have AI in it? Is it showing fake things? And meanwhile, they don't
have to do nothing, huh?
You created the whole platform to deceive and, you know, harm children. And that was your initial agenda, was to get these teens addicted to the platform, and which is causing detrimental long-term and even permanent damage and harm. Some I saw a video of some like families that were not even able to make it inside the courtroom, but they were outside and they were holding up pictures, and this was so like devastating, and it really just showed you the magnitude of the damage. They were holding up pictures of children that were not there because they committed suicide, and that was from the damage of these platforms. So it just has me thinking, like, what is this going to, how is this going to change social media going forward? Like, what does social media look like when, you know, people are getting on there? Like,
Yeah. So, counselor, I would love to hear your feedback on you or your thoughts on the legal perspective of like this case from what you heard. I know you didn't do too much research, but just based off of what you heard, what's your thoughts?
My first thing I was like, I gotta read into this. First of all, I didn't know this was happening. And I thought this story was going to be more about the along the lines of those shows that they have on there on YouTube, where they're coaching kids to have like for suicidal practices and things like that. And so, is the context of this case on that?
You mean like what was presented and all that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I wonder what kind of parameters after a case like this, then the company's got to go back and do cleanup, right? So do they now put parameters where you have to putting into your birthday to give your age? Will they be timed? Like you can only do this for 6 hours a day, and then once they do that blanket thing, obviously it affects all of us. But what else can they do to rectify? Because I know they don't want to make these kind of payouts ever again. But they need to be strategizing about what they do from here and now and what's going to work for the greater good. But then they also got to balance how they're going to generate their funds. Exactly. But they're creatives. They will figure it out. All will be well.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because I think what we're talking about now is $1 trillion companies.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to, hey, take this 375 and get out of here, it's not really much hurt. Yeah, exactly. And then it's just kind of like, hey, we got to figure out how do we make our money back, and then where do we go from here? Yeah. But then at the same time, it's like it just has me thinking, because before it was just like pretty much like, okay, the burden is on the parent to monitor the child, and like you said, like you only be on here for 2 hours, you be on there for 3 hours or whatever. But then no, it really should be the burden is on the companies to not make it addictive to, it's just crazy. And I think even like I saw somebody else, kind of like talking about their experience in life. And this is what I didn't think of. It's like, as a Gen Z person who grew up their whole life with social media and Facebook being around for how long, and that is their life, and that is how they grew up in the self, I guess, their perspective or of themselves and what they feel like reality should be, versus us, like we didn't have that much social media.
I was just looking at a chart yesterday about from the boomers all the way down to the Gen Zs, and what stood out for Gen Z was this is the first generation to ever be taught and have their lives led by a screen. And so I'm thinking the companies who were sued, they recognize that this is their audience, and they're building things now for who is going to be the future, the children of the people of the future. And so they I believe they purposely geared this to this. These are going to be our new 20-year-olds. These are our new 30-year-olds. So just like they had the get us hooked on nicotine for the two generations before us. Now they got to get them hooked on this so that this is their money makers from here on out, and it'll keep with generations and generations. I believe it was tactful. I will always say that education starts at home. I'm always going to put some emphasis on the home structure. Yes. Forget about what the law says, because you're supposed to be their first teacher. You're the one who gives them access to the TV or to the device, and you don't even have to take that step unnecessarily.
Yeah, and because of things like that, this generation being brought up by a screen, you now have first ladies walking out of the White House with a robot, and here this should be given to kids to teach them to become teachers, and instead of and replace like regular class education in a physical human teacher who can spot like, oh, this child has experienced abuse, and this child is malnourished, this child has not eaten, and this child is sick. Like what in the world is going on? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah. I do want to push back just a little bit, because
push back on what?
Well, not necessarily push back, but I do want to add another perspective, because I am kind of like, as Tanisha was saying, like the idea of the parents. Like, some of the parents we got to take responsibility, be like, And if you don't get your behind off that
Exactly.
that phone and go to bed and monitor that. I'm big with, I mean, I get all this soft parenting, but I'm big with, oh, okay, now you got to turn in your phone, you can't use your phone. Oh, okay, the door, now I'm taking the doors off the hinges. Oh, okay, like I believe, like, and maybe that's our generation that came from that, but I'm really big on, you know, the what accountability do we have as parents? That's the first thing. And two, um to place all the emphasis on, I guess, the creator of the social media stuff. I mean, I get it though. I get
But
it though.
I
Like I get it. I get it.
I
you know?
hear what you're saying, and I agree with that too, because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought about that too, and I'm like, dag, it should be the parent. But I think what messed them up in this case is that they found a lot of the studies that they did, because initially they Mark Zuckerberg testified to Congress is that no, our platforms are not for teenagers. But then they were able to pull
Gotcha.
up some receipts that said you specifically had people, had scientists studying preteen behaviors and
Interesting.
their prefrontal cortex and how they could get addicted to platforms.
Oh,
Why would you be doing those studies if you're not you're
Focusing on teens. or
exactly?
preteens.
So it's just kind of like,
see, I didn't hold on. I see. I didn't. I want to take back what I just said. I mean, I do feel like we need to police, so to speak, and you can say that's heavy or whatever language you. I do feel like we need to be policing our children, because you know we are our first children. We are our first children heroes, right? And to just throw them into, I seen like little kids like throw tantrums when a phone is taken away from them, and it just blows my mind. Like, are you serious? And we letting phones raise the kids, like, to keep them quiet. Here, take the phone.
A young man, I covered the story. He killed his mom. When
Crazy.
she took his, I guess,
Ain't
an
no way.
Xbox
Yeah,
or
yeah.
phone,
Ain't
some
no
type
way.
of contraption.
Ain't no way. Ain't no. You know what? In Mark Zuckerberg.
The story is baloney. You people must be idiots. What are you doing? Are you people out of your mind? Are you?
It ain't. No.
I love her though.
what are you
He deserves all of that.
doing?
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg
out of your
deserves all of that.
mind?
All of that. He can get it. He can get it. He can get it. Go ahead. But
Yeah,
no,
and
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, and you know, we can kind of continue that conversation
Yeah.
another time, because it's so many different layers about that, and it's just a shame, because you know, I mean, I think if parents did know that all of that was involved, and they, like, many of them wouldn't even. Why do you think it's banned in other countries?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that.
But that's the thing too. Like, I know you
They're
want to
like,
move on
y'all
real
not-
quick, but
Mhm.
the places like, I believe in, I want to say China.
China,
Yeah, they don't
Tokyo,
even.
they don't
even, first of all, I think they shut down at a certain time where they can't even access it, but they don't let certain material on it, certain content, they don't even allow kids to view it. But we let them do everything. Like that, even the food, I don't want to get into the food, but it's certain places where you can't even get Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And that's what we do, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we can monitor certain things, and so we got to start to think of, is it a
or
US
should it
thing?
be? Yes,
I was-
that's what I was
yeah,
getting ready. Yep.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Should
we
it be
blame
the
the
government?
US. Yeah, the government. Yeah, no
Yeah. All right. So, final story. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho.
Yeah, that's my guy right there.
Yes. So Jay-Z, he sat down with GQ for a full interview. And what I loved initially about this is that he gave this young reporter a chance to interview him. Shout out to our young reporters from Youth Civic News that we took the time, 15 weeks, to train them in
That's a long
literacy,
time. Ooh,
youth,
that's right.
media and independent media and all that good stuff. But Jay-Z started off, he talks about his year in 2025, including being accused of assaulting a 13-year-old girl. That lawsuit was dismissed, but Jay-Z was talking about how extremely angry he was and how could you just bring those types of allegations against somebody. And he also he talks about his amazement with Blue Ivy's performance on her on their tour and her growth and her talent. He also was asked about his thoughts on the Kendrick Lamar versus Drake rap battle, and his response was pretty surprising. Basically, he was comparing the battle rap years ago to today's type of battle raps. And he said, we love the excitement and I love the sparring, but in this day and age, there's so much negative stuff that comes with it, and you almost wish it didn't happen. It's too far. It's bringing people's kids in it. I don't like that. It could stand before because there was no social media. You had the battle and it was fun, and then you moved on. Right now, I don't know if it could stand. It's like trying to tear people's lives, trying to tear down people's lives. I don't know if it's worth it at this point. I love the idea that we got so much music, and he's talking about Kendrick Lamar's album and how so much music came out of it, and you know, Drake and all that. But he's like, I like the idea that we got so much music in such a short period of time. Just everything was like, man, this is taking us a couple steps back. You know, all of the stuff that came from it. But he's just like, we just grown so much that I don't know if battling needs to be a part of the culture anymore. And I think people are shocked to hear that coming from Jay-Z.
I'm a little shocked to hear. I think I heard some whispering of him taking a position like that, especially when Jay had a background in battling, you know. It wasn't like, I get the whole kids thing because we came up, right? Our generation was like, you know, no women, no kids. They was off we can go at it all day long. It was no women, no kids, and that was like kind of our generation thing. I feel right. I feel if we are talking battle, so I'm just trying to. I'm wondering if he's considering just the battle rap culture as Drake and Kendrick Lamar versus like Smack and that type of battle situation, because they get personal, but it's an understanding of witty wordplay schemes and all of that. That's a different kind of battle culture versus a Kendrick Lamar and
or
Drake.
Pac and Biggie.
Yeah, Pac and Biggie, you know, Jay-Z and Nas. And you know, it was all
and who did he go? He went,
so I mean I probably, as a reporter, if I was interviewing, probably would have went there, like when you're talking about cultural, specifically because there is a battle rap culture that kind of spurns from hip hop. And if you listen to what they're saying, they know that it's
when you got Nick Cannon and like
that trash.
The show. The show. That's the show.
Yeah, but I would just think that deserves some amplification in the amount of work that it takes to prepare for a 3-round, 3, 4, 5, 6 minute rap battle when you talk about each round like 6 minutes,
because
that takes a lot.
Battle rap, when we were growing up, because we are the generation of having it, that's what it was. Just like when we would cheer, you would go against somebody and cheering. It was the same way when we would rap. You would you had to have somebody in front of you, and then you busting on them in your rap when you freestyling. So it was a part of the culture. So I see what you're saying about what level is he referring to?
Exactly. What level? What, when you talk about culture, so I would have wanted the reporter to dig a little bit, like, you know, when we talk about culture specifically, what, you know, because that's what he got his pretty much why we supported Jay, because it was like he came from the gutter, he was willing to battle, whatever, he was great at what he does. In fact, you know, he gets a lot of credit for, you know, the way that he puts together his rhymes by not even writing. Right. And so when you talk about somebody that's as talented as that, who got their start literally battling, how can you say, I don't know, I'm a Jay fan. I just need to see the interview. I didn't see the interview.
Right. And I can understand like a lot of what he's saying. Like, you know, you didn't have social media then to where like if you were saying to somebody to their face, like, yeah, your baby mom this, you like if you take the stuff that Kendrick Lamar said to Drake, they said to one another, and they said that to their faces. You know what I mean? Like, if there was no social media, it wouldn't have gone viral. You wouldn't have people that are just like, I hate Drake now, and you know, because
I don't know.
Yeah, because we didn't have social media.
Hey, Sizzle, I'm gonna let you finish, but
it wouldn't have been.
now what?
But when we think of that Nas and Jay beef, we didn't have social media back then. But everyone was talking. Yo, did you hear that? Blah, this, that. I mean, it was kind of like a viral moment.
But at the same time, you have stans who go on social media and they start doing stuff, it, like when it comes to that, I think he's talking about on that level.
Well, even isn't 50 and T.I. going through a beef right now? But now
who would have been able to do that though?
Right.
And then like you have, I know when they said bringing people's kids and stuff into it and all that, like,
and
a lot of the like, when you do the battle rapping, like versus then, like you said what you said in person and all that, and you might have heard some rumors after it. They then take their beef to social media, so it goes to another level afterwards. It doesn't just end there. It's like you know, it starts like a back and forth, and then sometimes depending on who the beef is, it can turn deadly.
It can. That's real. That's real. I mean, but you know, I get you. I think I guess I would separate it by way of like commercial stuff versus true battle rap culture, right? Because you have people that's still in kind of like the battle rap culture. Like when I think of like when you had the Joe Buddens and all of those that had the leagues, the battle rap leagues, and then you have people like Smack, and you have you know, Cassidy and Reed Dollars and all these people. Like that's literally like when you talk about battle rap culture, you have to think of Philly when we talk about this stuff, right? And the Bone Collector, all the people from Philly that really represent in terms of battle rap, and then because that's the era that I came out in. You know, you had from State Property to, you know, like the Year That's Us with, you know, I mean, you had so many different people, especially in Philadelphia, that it was about battle culture.
Even now, battle rap in Philly is totally different.
It's different, but I mean, it's.
I mean, I'm even thinking back where wasn't Roxanne Shante with the other Shante saying who the real Shante? Y'all
hold on, I'm gonna let you finish real quick.
Hey, this is Roxanne Shante, and your week cannot be complete unless you listen to or watch We Talk Weekly. Please believe me, baby.
Do that. You brought her up. That's my girl. Yeah, for sure.
So but Jay-Z, you know, definitely check out the full interview. He defended his selections of Super Bowl headliners, saying that for a lot of years it was only one side of music being represented, and you got whatever you got.
Yeah, that's
but
real.
He's saying now that it's pretty much more balanced. And then, you know, he's just saying, like, basically on his pick of Kendrick Lamar, he said, I chose this guy who was having a monster year. You know, I think it was the right choice. What do I care about these two guys? And this little part is kind of like a lot of people, I'm not going to say a lot, but some people didn't really care for this part, but he just was like, basically like, I chose him, and like, you know, what do I care about these two guys battling, talking about Drake and Kendrick, and then he's just like, what's that got to do with me? Y'all basically saying like, have at it. They drag everybody into it, like everybody's part of this conspiracy to undermine Drake, I guess. But it's like, I'm effing Jay-Z. So then he's laughing, and then he was like, all due respect to him, but I'm effing Hove. Respectfully, it doesn't make any sense.
I get what he's saying.
I get
I'm sure
what he's
people
saying.
taking
Exactly.
it out.
But
do his voice. How does he talk?
I'm sure they're taking it out of context.
Yeah. You should imitate his voice when he just said that though, because he talks slow. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm Jay-Z."
Yeah,
like, it wasn't aggressive.
And then he got that New York accent.
Right. I can hear him saying that.
No doubt. I'm Hove. Like, why? No, I got you. I got you. And they probably hating on what he said. I'm sure Kendrick get it, But
yeah.
why should I?
Oh,
So
Jay-Z.
yeah, I get it. He's trying to say like all this drama that's out there that's coming from him, and you bringing everybody else. Why you bring like I don't have nothing to do with it. I'm Jay.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that's their beef, not mine.
Right,
Like why are you trying to bring which one you like better? You know, that type of
Yeah,
thing. No,
yeah,
I get it.
yeah.
Yeah, you know,
So he basically was saying that, but then you had some people who are just like, oh, well,
figured
why
that.
is he saying it like that?
Oh,
Like,
God.
he's cocky and
That's why I said if you
Nah.
could imitate his voice, because if you knowing his personality, it don't come across like that. I haven't seen the interview yet, but that's how I'm taking it.
Yeah, but he talked about Beyonce and his children, and he talked about, you know, the albums and all that, and, you know, Reasonable Doubt and 444 and, you know, his relationship with J. Cole, billionaire status, inclusion of Black people and more. So just, you know, go ahead and check that out. And Jay-Z's, he's going to be headlining the Roots Picnic here in Philly, the city of brotherly love, on May 30th at the Belmont Plateau in Fairmount Park. And this is going to be a 2-day festival on May 30th and the 31st. This is the first time it's being held at the Belmont Plateau. And the Roots manager and president of Live Nation Urban, Sean G., he said, after meeting with Mayor Sherelle Parker and hearing her vision for Philadelphia 250, she truly inspired us to dream even bigger, and we're grateful to her and everyone who helped make it happen. So he's going to be, Erykah Badu is co-headlining with him, with Jay-Z as well. So.
That's a major shout out for Sherelle.
No. We're not doing. No, excuse me. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Especially when it comes to the Roots. And let me call out the Roots real quick, because we Talk Weekly has reached out 3 years now for press, and you didn't hit us back. So I could care less about until y'all get back to us. Nah, like real talk. But shout out to Jay and
and
I like this.
And Jay-Z, he also is doing concerts in New York, which it sold out. Like they had
like two minutes.
Because they had like they were doing like a hold, because you know they're trying to keep like scalpers from like stealing all the tickets. So once the tickets went live, I think it was like either 600,000 people on hold to try to get tickets, but then it went to 1.5 or 6 million or whatever. So good luck.
I seen Hove. I went to a concert by myself here in Philly, and it was phenomenal. I mean, he literally had on a t-shirt, jeans. I forget what kind of sneakers he had on. No background people and nothing. And it was amazing.
All I got to say is one word: powerhouse. If you know, you know.
It was good.
He said, you got to pardon Jay for selling out the garden in the day. He gonna do it again. He did it again. Like more. It was more.
And
like,
that's the crazy part. He's not even this generation. You know, not even the last generation.
No, it don't matter. It's all us going. Most of us is going.
No, us and our children with us. Do you see what I'm saying? Like for real. Like they really, you know, they do give him his flowers.
Yeah, because if you think about like rappers that have left you profound, like, you know, their lyrics are just profound, and you have to literally sit there and think about what they said, because it's just like it's just multi-dimensional mentally. It's just like he's one of them.
One of my favorite lines.
You got to be like, he just said.
One of my favorite lines from him was, I'm so far ahead of my time.
I knew you was going to say that.
I'm about to start another life. Look behind me. I'm about to pass you twice. Back to the future, gotta slow for the present fast. You just can't get past my past. So how you propose to deal with my perfect present when I unwrap the gift and the curse in one session? He said, ain't no other contestant. Only 2 resting in heaven could be mentioned in the same breath as them. 7 straight summers critics might not admit it, but nobody in rap did it quite like I did it. If you did it, I've done it before. You bid it, I had it, got mad at it, and don't want it no more. And it goes from everything from flipping it raw, flipping horse, flipping vocal cords, don't get it twisted, get it right, did it different, did it better, did it nice, did the impossible, and then I did it twice. Get it right. That's one of my favorite, like, when you talk about whole, like, we grew up with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to say, like, you know, and so that's why you would have, that was, you know, Hove was the how can I put it? He was the hustler. He had the hustler anthems.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, that's all we was doing in the hood. We was hustling. Like, hey,
Yeah.
hustling.
Yeah.
I'm a hustler, homie. Shout out to Cassidy. But you talking about, that's why, and he put on people from Philly.
Yes, he did.
State property.
Speaking of Cassidy,
Yeah,
you gotta see his story on when he went to that. I'm gonna be quiet.
Where we see
Don't
it?
leave that alone. Well, he freestyled. You gotta look at the story up.
That's good.
No doubt.
But it was dope story.
For sure. All right, was that it?
That was a sizzle.
Damn, that was a good. All right, that was it.
a good one.
And a round of applause for that. All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. This is We Talk Weekly, y'all. Make sure y'all tune in. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. That's all we ask. It only take a minute to like, subscribe, and share a video. You know, I think this was a dynamic show that people would get a lot.
Monica said Aaron McKee.
Oh yeah.
Malik Rose.
Oh yeah, Aaron McKee. Yeah, shout out to Aaron McKee. Shout out to Temple T. You in the building. Listen, it was a quick story about Aaron McKee. He when they had, I think they made it to the Final Four. I can't remember. It was a big party that he actually threw. And it was like sold out. Nobody could get in it. But me and PR, we was at the door and we went to the thing and he happened to see us. And we were standing there like, he was like, yo, what's up, Jay, what's up? I was like, yo, nothing, congratulations. We could. He was like, no, come on, y'all could get in. And he walked us in. I was like, that's my guy. That's my guy. So if y'all know, y'all from Temple T, you all, I'll stand up. And so if y'all know how big he was in the city and how he represented Philly. He represented Philly well, man. So shout out to Aaron McKee. All right, so I'm your boy Charles Gregg with the beautiful
Classy Lady Sparkle
and the beautiful
Lawrence
and the beautiful
Tanisha Henry.
And that was our show, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you tune in. Hold up before I go up. We got one more comment. Yes, it was. There you go. I appreciate it. Say yes. It was a dynamic show, and I'm going to. I know, and I'm gonna end on that. Yeah, I'm going to end on that because that was the perfect comment to put an exclamation point at the end of this sentence. All right, y'all. We see y'all next Saturday, and we out here like last year, y'all. Peace. Yeah.